press down on the buttons below each item. It will let you choose a different channel.
This time DA will find some room to the right side and move up and eventually push out of bounds.
Down at the Danielback bench and they have the big water.
Number 89, Nathaniel Wilson, who got there. This time DA will find some room to the right side and move up and eventually.
Good evening and welcome to our live broadcast of the Varsity Football Championships here at the Princess Auto Stadium. My name is Yama.
And it's me, Anjola, and tonight is the final matchup between the Dakota Lancers and the Oak Park Raiders.
I am super excited for this game and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Exactly, and we are students of the Broadcast Media Program at the Riel Arts and Technology Center. You probably know us better as LRSD TV. Here's a quick look at what we do in our program.
Do you enjoy expressing your creativity by operating cameras, filmmaking, audio mixing, streaming, directing, editing, and the list goes on, and want to learn more or possibly even turn one into a future career, then the broadcast media program at ATC is the best choice for you and a good way to start your broadcasting journey. With no risk and a whole lot of rewards, the opportunities are endless.
What other chance would you get to actually talk to like an industry professional about a job that you want to be in your future, other than like right here?
With access to professional equipment at a high school level, the students can learn the basics of all broadcasting fields and are encouraged to learn more of the preferred part of the industry. In the broadcast media program, you get to learn hands-on experience behind the lens of the broadcast cameras, operating and adjusting the settings, or maybe being on the other side of the lens by being the announcer. Maybe you like to talk. Well then, you can go and create your own podcast with your own topics and your own guests. Still love to talk and love music? Well, the radio room is a fantastic area where you can make your own desired segments and operate the audio mixer for an actual radio station that people can listen to. With access to Adobe products, students can test their creativity with a software like Premiere Pro, Photoshop, or write their scripts with a professional newsroom software. And let's not forget about how fun the whole class can be just outside of the classroom. We take our act on the road and broadcast some of the biggest high school sports events at some of the coolest places like the University of Manitoba. We've gone to Investors Group Athletic Center for basketball and volleyball, and football at the Investors Group field where the Bombers call home. I'm on the field with a camera doing handheld. I'm going in the huddles, dodging the players that are running at me. I find it really cool that I can just actually be there. This 10-month-long course of constant learning provides students with the opportunity to go for a 3-week internship in the broadcasting field to learn more about their industry. If you are interested, check out the broadcast media program by scanning this QR code or check out the website at www.LRSD.TV to learn more about what we do.
And cut, that's a wrap. If you have any questions or you want to learn more about our program, visit our website at www.imfreezing.com, at www.LRSD.TV. Now we'll throw it to Mike Still and Dan Whsfl to call in all the action.
To tonight's broadcast of the Anavets Bowl on LRSD TV. It is the most prestigious prize in high school football in Manitoba. It is the most prestigious prize, arguably one of the most in the entire country in terms of high school football. Mike Still, Dan Whsfl, honored to call this game for you tonight, Dan. And this is a battle of perennial powerhouses over the last few seasons. 6-1 Dakota, 6-1 Oak Park. We'll set the stage for you here quickly before we go to our pregame festivities. The Lancers are the two-time defending Anavets Bowl champions. They faced off against the Oak Park Raiders in this game last season. The Raiders are looking for their first Anavets Bowl since 2014. They defeated the Dakota Lancers 11-3 in week 1. So this is going to be an absolute classic. What can fans expect tonight, Dan?
You know, I would love to say that we're probably going to be in for a high-scoring game, but if anything has indicated between these last times these teams have met, last year in the championship, earlier this season, even though when they're playing other teams, they put up a ton of points, with the conditions being what they are, with the defenses being what they are, I would be expecting this will be another low-scoring defensive game, and not necessarily because of mistakes, not necessarily because of miscues, but because these defenses are that good. These teams are that good, and when we start to get a little cold and we start to get a little snowy, it's looking finally like some Winnipeg High School Football League playoff weather with the snow on the field here. It's going to come down to a lot of grit, determination, and who's going to be able to capitalize and minimize mistakes. So I know that Oak Park has done a really great job all year mixing up their offensive packages and then defensively relying on their athletes to be athletes. Dakota is doing what Dakota's always done, spreading that ball around, getting space for their playmakers on specials, on offense, and they've been able to put up a lot of points all year.
These are not the same teams that we saw in week 1. I've certainly come a long way, and Dan, you teed it up. These are two teams that don't rely on a single player to make plays. It's not one true all-star. These are balanced offenses and balanced defenses. You're going to see a lot of different athletes get touches in this game. You're going to see a lot of different athletes make plays. Special teams is going to be a really critical part of this game, as it always is in the Canadian level. It is a huge part of this game, a third of the game in Canada. Oak Park certainly showed that last week, and it will definitely help decide this football game. The Dakota Lancers are looking to become just the third team in Winnipeg High School Football League history to three-peat as Anavet's Bowl champions. The last ones to do so, St. Paul's from 2011 to 13. The other program to do that, it was the Oak Park Raiders from 2000 to 2002. On the other side, Oak Park looking to do what the Lancers have done over the last 2 years, which is win the JV and the varsity crowns in Winnipeg high school football. They won the JV championship last week, and now they're playing for Stu. The late Stu Nixon tragically passed away this past May, and head coach Chris Olsen mentioned that at the press conference. A mentor of his as a coach. We're going to talk about that a lot as this game goes along, but it's certainly Stu Nixon is on the mind of the Oak Park Raiders, and he's certainly watching from above upstairs as this one goes on. We are really excited to call this for you. We're going to have a whole lot of pregame stuff going on before this even kicks off, just so everyone is kind of aware of what's happening here. We're going to have the undergraduates and the coaching staffs announced for both teams. We're going to have seniors. We're going to have the parade come in, and we're going to have an act of remembrance, as well as a moment of silence as well for Darius Hartshorn. So we're going to tune out now and be back after the announcements.
And here they are, ladies and gentlemen, the Oak Park Raiders undergraduates and their coaching staff, led by Coach Chris Olsen. And something new this year, we are going to be introducing the senior players from each team by number. Number 5, J.J. Wall. Number 6, Tristan Scrivener. Number 10, Reed Monkman. Number 12, Adriel Egby. Number 16, Brady Templeton. Number 21, Preston Benjamin. Number 23, Zach Pichet. #24, Michelle Minoni. Number 26, Quinn Sloggett. Number 28, Jacques Grouet. Number 30, Peyton Clark. Number 38, Liam Vincent. Number 42, Ryan North. Number 46, Brady Penner. Number 55, Luke Edmondson. Number 57, Connor Plant. Number 60, Phelan Luke. Number 62, Maddox Globerman. Number 69, Hayden Chapman. Number 71, Colton Lusinger. Number 78, Danny Valaya. And number 82, Marek Vujovic. And now from the Oak Park Raiders, number 0, Amias First. Number 1, Taven Pirani. Number 2, Yanni Linetsky. Number 3, Adam Kilmister. Number 5, Grayson Ross. Number 7, Jeremy Hansen. Number 9, Taya Malastas. Number 12, Braden Kohansky. Number 14, Caden Harder. Number 15, Jack Wansing. Number 23, Alex Brisebois Peterson. Number 25, Jackson Spott. Number 44, Kadron Monahan. Number 52, Adrian Moore. Number 55, Gabe Nezib. Number 66, Nikolai Outen. Number 72, Ethan Delarome. Number 83, Reason Imani. Number 84, Sebastian Kristenko. Number 98, Trigger Linklater. And number 99, Tiger Reeves.
The Winnipeg Football Club recognizes that Princess Albert Stadium is located on Treaty 1 land, traditional territories of the Anishinaabe and the Chinook, Cree, Dakota, and Lakota, and resides in the homeland of the Red River Métis. We also recognize our community's relationship with Dene and people and peoples, and that our city's water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. In this spirit, we commit to a path of reconciliation and moving forward in partnership with one another in gratitude.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to ask you to please stand for the parade of the Army, Navy, Air Force Veterans in Canada Color Party, veterans from CVMS and CAV 3 Dieppe, and the Winnipeg Police Pipe Band. stand for the singing of O Canada by Renelyn Gasillan from Living Music Winnipeg School of Music.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for
And remove your hats for a moment of silence in honor of our fallen comrades. Let us bow our heads in silent memory of those of our comrades who on the sea, land, and in the air gave their lives in the service of king and country, and of those who, having served, have since been called to their lasting resting place. They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, we will remember them. We will remember them. Please remain standing as Miss Rosie Towers reads a tribute to our honored veterans.
Tribute to veterans. Today we gather here not only to watch a great football game, but to honor, not in mourning, but in reverence. We remember those who stood with courage, who gave everything so others could live, breathe, and hope. These were not just comrades, they were our brothers, our sisters, and our friends. They laughed with us, fought beside us, and carried burdens we may never fully understand. This brings to mind Dan Trelnuck, better known to his brothers here as Hoss, a big guy with a heart to match. He was taken from his best friend and partner, Anita, as well as his Cav 3 brothers on July 28th of last year. We salute you. We miss you. We will never forget you. Let us not forget the price of peace is paid in courage, and those who paid it deserve not just our remembrance, but our promise to live lives worthy of their sacrifice. When you meet up with a veteran, thank him for his service. So I ask all of you, team players, coaches, referees, everybody, I want to hear you say, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Please remain standing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Winnipeg High School Football League is heartbroken over the loss of one of our own. Darius Hartshorn, a senior at Sisler, played on both the O-line and D-line of the Spartans, proudly wearing number 57. He was tragically injured during the final game of the regular season and passed away last week. Our thoughts are with his family, teammates, friends, as well as his classmates at Whsfl High. We ask that you observe a moment of silence to honor Darius. The Winnipeg Police Pipe Band will now play Amazing Grace. All of the players in tonight's game will be wearing a number 57 sticker on their helmets in memorial, and every player on every team will wear that sticker for the 2026 season. The color party will now march off the field. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. You can ask the players to return to their benches. I'd like to introduce the officials for tonight's game. The referee is Matt Urbanovich. Umpire is Brian Goodman. Downs judge Floyd Bergner. Line judge Matt Lothian. Side judge Dan Hughes. Back judge Scott Olafson. Field judge Mark Schmidtke. Timers Cheryl Kostelnik and Cheryl Thacker. And our game day supervisor is Grant Wuckert. Today's ceremonial coin toss will be conducted by Mr. Al Dunham, Anavet's Dominion Command President, Mr. Jeffrey McGinnis, Sergeant-at-Arms, and Ms. Rosie Towers, Army, Navy, Air Force Veterans Provincial Command Sports Officer, using the special medallion commissioned for the Anavet's Bowl. I'd like to ask the captains to please report to the center of the field. Mr. Al Dunham of the Anavets will now toss the coin.
Shield will be heads, and the writing will be tails. Dakota, as the visitors, it's your call. Heads. Heads is called.
Okay, Al.
We have a tail. Oak Park. We'll defer. Dakota will receive.
Oh, good.
You want that side? Okay, let's switch.
We're done. Yep, we leave.
Dakota to receive. Good luck.
And to begin the game, the Raiders will be kicking off from the north side of the field.
Good evening, football fans. Thank you for tuning in to LRSD TV for tonight's broadcast of the Anavets Bowl. It's the biggest prize in Winnipeg high school football. It's one of the biggest prizes in high school football in Canada overall. The prestigious championship will go to either the Dakota Lancers or the Oak Park Raiders. Mike Still, pleased to be joined on the call by Dan Washnook. And Dan, these are two teams that rightfully deserve to be here, 6-1 each in the regular season. Then met in week one. Oak Park won that game 11-3, but these two teams are nothing like they were in that first week. They have come a long way.
Yeah, they both continued to evolve who they are. Like in that first matchup, Oak Park came out with a really heavy offense. They came out with downfield running between Finn Bramwell as one of their fullback types and Grayson Ross as a defensive interior that they line up in the backfield, and we'll leave them back there for like a real power set. They kind of came out and said, hey, you've got those fast linebackers that Canadian football's kind of evolved into. How are you going to handle some downfield run? And it kind of looked like it was a new Oak Park this year, but that was them just kind of establishing their identity for a night like tonight. And as the season progressed, they brought back a lot of their 5R throwing the ball around with Kohanski. Dakota is who they are. They're defending champs for a reason.
Bowen prepares to kick off the ball for the Raiders.
They get the ball around and they close really quickly with a lot of great athletes.
We are off and running here. Important to mention, as you talked about for Oak Park, Braden Kohanski, that was his first career start in week one. Certainly evolved a lot since then. The Lancers will field this ball first. Late flag as it has moved up to the 25-yard line. We'll wait to hear what the call is on the field. That one returned by Brady Templeton.
Yeah, great kick from Riel and Patching Bowen. He has a leg on him. He was regularly throughout the postseason putting those kickoffs into the end zone. Like, he's just got an absolute boom of a leg on him. And great downfield coverage from Oak Park to keep that return to the 25. And we're
Unnecessary roughness, horse collar. Dakota 54, 15-yard penalty, first down.
And seeing a blocking player called on horse collar, which is very rare, backing up even further to the 10-yard line. So we're going to have a full 100 yards for Dakota to go on this first drive.
Lancers will start from their 10, and it will be Khalil Hossein, the senior quarterback, calling the shots for the Dakota Lancers. Abbas Budd, head coach of Dakota, is not here tonight dealing with a personal matter, but nothing but high praise for him as that first down carry goes absolutely nowhere. Taken down by Grayson Ross behind the line of scrimmage, and he was huge in that week one matchup, had the lone touchdown on a fumble recovery.
And they're doing something really neat that Oak Park started last week against Vincent Massey Collegiate. They put him, he's a 3-tech, a B-gap defensive lineman. Well, they put him to linebacker. he's playing out in space. He was running with routes. He was hard walling. He really impressed me on tape. Like sometimes you put that player out of position, but now he's walking up in what we call a cowboy. He's up in a 50 front. They've got so much flexibility to move Ross around.
Lancers trips to the strong side. They're going to want to get the ball in the hands of their fast, athletic playmakers offensively as that ball is complete, breaking away down the sideline, and there's a great example of it. Big yards after the catch on that reception from J.J. Wall, one of those speedsters.
Yeah, and that's a great showcase of what Dakota does really well. That's, you know, I call it my program, a gout concept. It's a going and out. It's just a concept that most programs have in their playbook. Well, if you've got that man coverage, it's running away from the halfback, you've got zone coverage, you can hopefully find that window, and you just get the ball in the hands of your playmakers and let them go make plays. And defenders having to go lateral to make tackles is a lot harder on a slick surface.
J.J. Wall, the younger brother of Marcus Wall with the Manitoba Bisons. That one right up the middle, gain of about 4 just to JJ, quickly described by his head coach. Very gifted, just like Marcus, the type of athlete where we can give him the ball in space and he'll make a bunch of people miss and find the end zone. You saw the example of that speed there.
And that's just their straight up zone concept here. Nothing too special other than the execution being really high. And that's kind of the give and take. The backside end gets frozen by the quarterback. We got a player coming off the field. My guess is with this current Whitecap, it's probably a knee pad issue. We just, that inside zone look, the backside end is accounted for by the quarterback, so they're slowed up. As an offense, if the backside end is making the tackle on the inside zone, you're probably getting 5 yards. Defensively, it's like, yeah, that's the job to make sure it's not 10 yards.
Important to note, lead back for Dakota, Noah Lee, is not playing in this football game. He'll be running back by committee. Look for Reed Monkman to get a decent amount of carries in his place. Hossein back to pass on second down, and he's sacked. Big stuff by the Oak Park Raiders defense on that play.
Yeah, Jordan Schofield, the defense coordinator for Oak Park, is already showing off what a great command of the defense and of the game he has here. That was a very neat, exotic look. So they came out, they showed cover 0 with the safety low, they got the backers up, they're moving around Ross, they're moving around players, and they're just basically hiding pressures, twists, and stunts that Dakota has seen all year. But when you start seeing it out of those moving pieces, it's just getting a lot harder to account for your bodies.
Adrian Reed with the sack for Oak Park. Adonis Glod and Amias First are back to return for the Raiders. That punt is blocked. Grayson Ross gets his hand in on that football, and it's going to be Oak Park ball inside the Dakota 30.
Yeah, Grayson Ross, I'm actually kind of surprised coming off the field and they're not leaving him out there to continue to be an absolute game wrecker to start this day off. What a immediate impact on the game that he's had and that he's had all year.
Grayson Ross made his impact felt in week 1, making a difference early on in the first quarter of the Anavets Bowl, trying to help the Raiders win their first Anavets Bowl since 2014. Dakota on the other end looking to become the 5th school in WHSFL history to three-peat, as we get the first look at Braden Kohansky calling the signals for the Raiders, and that handoff sneaking away, still on his feet, down inside the 10, pushing towards the 5-yard line. It's Adonis Glod.
And this is such a great example of what Coach Giesbrick from Oak Park, you know, to keep kind of talking about those coordinators right now as they're on a roll, is doing with just some different looks. Quads, 4-receiver set, that's a very normal look for Oak Park. But they had number 40, Finn Bramwell, out as that 4th receiver. Not exactly a receiver body type. Now, when they slice him across the formation to occupy, like I said earlier, that backside end, that's another great way to just occupy.
After the first down was gained, unnecessary roughness, blindside block, Oak Park number 1, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Forcing the defense to have to adjust. And then Dakota getting a penalty to back Oak Park up here, but after yards gained, so it stays first down.
Blindside block was the call, bringing this ball back to the 30-yard line.
Well, I guess part of me was probably cut off when the official started speaking there, so I'm not sure what I missed. But now we're seeing, with 40 out on that field, that's going to be the look. You see 40 in that backfield. This is Oak Park's downhill run style of offense. They're going to try and play some smash mouth ball here.
Once again, it's Glod, cuts it to the outside. late flag once again as he's taken on a bounds by Alex Klenk.
Yeah, Tiger Reeves did a really good job sealing the edge here, and he might have done too good of a job. It looks like he might be the one that gets called here. And there's Finn Bramwell, I talked to a couple times, he's down already. He took a shot. You know, when you're seeing a lead play like that, that's a fullback and a linebacker meeting in the gap, and your two jobs are 5-yard runs at each other. Let's see who's going to win at the point of attack. And whether you make the block or not, in fact, we have both players down. I don't know this, but it might have been both players involved in that collision, because scraping that fullback.
Holding Oak Park, number 99, 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Scraping that fullback in the gap is one of the, you know, if I can go old man here, one of the best feelings in football of just you and I, we're going to go meet in that gap. We're going to hit each other as hard as we can, and we're going to do it all day if we need to. It's great downhill football, and we'll see it all night.
Tiger Reeves is going to be one of the big difference makers on both sides of the line. He's one of 6 Raiders that were on Team Manitoba this past summer. The Dakota Lancers had 9 players on their team representing Team Manitoba U18 this past summer, and a fantastic 2-1 finish for that Team Manitoba squad. Oak Park early on having success in the run game. I talked to veteran Taven Pirani, one of the seniors on this team, running back, receiver and defensive back, and also important on special teams. And he mentioned in that week 1 win, we really focused on our run game. We really proved that we can hold the ball down, especially with our defense as well. If we can come out hard, we'll have it on lockdown for sure. Early on, Oak Park's commanded the ball well on the ground, but a couple of tough penalties have brought them back to their own 40.
Yeah, this is a classic look for them. With that tailback to the trip side here, I'm surprised to see they're like just trying. Ooh.
High snap goes over the head of Kohanski, and Law just jumps on that football back at the Oak Park, Dakota 52.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of just movement backwards here for Oak Park. For after that block punt, you just have a great situation where you're right on that, just in position to score, and then just a couple penalties, and now that high snap is going to put Dakota in a great spot to get the ball back when we got 2nd and 30-something here. So hopefully defense coordinator for Dakota, Nick Elder, can get his defense off the field here in their too high shell.
2nd in an area code for the Raiders is Kohanski. Back to pass. He's got a man open, but that one is incomplete. In and out of the outstretched hands of the intended target on the play, Travis Irving. Grade 11, and that'll set up 3rd down. But I will say, look for Irving as well as Alan Kilmister. Those are 2 big physical receivers that are sure to get involved as this game goes along.
Yeah, that last look there from Oak Park, we're going to see that a lot when they're quad set, where they're going to release Adonis Glad, number 10, out to the ISO side. They love getting him out in space on linebackers. And there's a concept that both these programs run where they're going to have that tailback releasing to that ISO side. It's, you know, the call for it is a mesh rail, if you want to look at it that way. They've been using that a lot this season.
Raiders back to punt. That's great hang time on that kick by Ryland Patching Bowen. Fielded at the 10-yard line, pushed up past the 20, and we've got another flag on the field as the laundry is flying early and often in this first quarter. Once again, it's Brady Templeton on the return.
Yeah, now it's Oak Park is going to be, sorry, Dakota's going to be starting off basically where they were. Again, another 100 yards to drive the field here. Unless, you know, I've misjudged where and when that flag came out. Maybe they're going to get that 10 spot him up instead. Regardless of which way this penalty goes, Dakota's still got that full field to march. And can Coach Barrett, the offensive coordinator for Dakota, can he get them working downfield?
Yeah, you know Boyd Barrett's going to want to get everybody involved. It was a really balanced Dakota offense all season long. Tons of players getting touches in the ground game and in the receiving game. 6 different players with over 150 yards receiving in the regular season. Stats not fully updated for everyone. However, it was J.J. Wall that did lead the way in terms of stats for Dak. He missed a few games, still led the team in receiving yards in the regular season. One of those many dangerous playmakers. While we have a second here as they're kind of going over the deliberations, a good opportunity to kind of talk about this Oak Park side a little bit. Chris Olsen, of course, head coach of this program. And Dan, you know him well. He started his career coaching out there with Miles Macca. Just talk a little bit about how you've seen him evolve as a playmaker, play caller, or a coach. Because he's done a little bit of everything. He's coached a lot of different positions. Very smart coach.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And, you know, as a former No, honestly, I'm not sure what's going on with the field here. It looks like we're going to be potentially re-punting after the penalty here. You know, saying that Chris Olsen started with us, I think that's, he absolutely spent some time with our program. I hope he pulled some things away from it, but that makes it sound like he's part of, that he was, you know.
Illegal substitution, Oak Park, number 40. Unnecessary roughness, blindside block after change of possession, Dakota 55. We're going to repeat third down.
The work that he's put into this Oak Park program to help it rise to the heights that it's at right now is a lot of credit to him as an individual, and of course all the people around him. There's a lot of really fantastic coaches on that sideline.
Yeah, and Coach Olsen talking about his coaching journey, saying it means a lot. Getting into coaching, it's a big sacrifice. When I first got into coaching, I dealt with a lot of Stu Nixon's coaches and older guys like Dave Black and Austin Harvey. I was able to get mentored by a lot of good coaches. I spent 2 years coaching at Mouse Math with Dan, sponged and soaked in everything, coached everything from running backs to O-line to D-line, defenses and offenses. As coordinator, you're always learning and realizing you can change and modify things. And he spoke about this team, saying, I think we're finally ready to jump over that line, especially with their leadership group that they have, those seniors that we'll talk about as this game goes along. That most recent punt went out of bounds. Lancers will start at their own 30-yard line. This is Hussein with split backs. Motioning is Templeton to the short side. It's going to be a draw play. There's not much at the line of scrimmage. Excellent work by that defensive front of the Raiders. Trigger Linklater, first man in.
Yeah, that's a staple for the Dakota program, that counter tray, getting both of those pullers moving to the point of attack. And Oak Park has seen that a lot across a lot of programs, and they were very ready for that. They dealt with it effectively and downhill.
Second and long for the Lancers as Hussein is calling out the shots to his side. He's an intelligent guy. Great job reading as the Raiders are showing blitz. He's making that pre-snap adjustment at the line. Low snap for Hussein. He gets it away. That one is incomplete as he was trying to find J.J. Wall, but with that ball on the turf, everything was rushed, and then he saw pressure at the line of scrimmage, turning into a third down.
Yeah, what a great example of the gamesmanship that happens in football. So we have Oak Park showing that cover zero again with everyone crowding the line, the safety up in the box. Then we have Hussein recognizing, hey, that's cover zero. Let's move to a cover zero beater. This is something we've prepped. Let's audible out to it. Then Oak Park bails out to a single high safety shell, going to more of a base defense, not necessarily still like coming away from the pressure, but not showing cover zero anymore. And just great gamesmanship on both sides of the ball.
Preston Benjamin set to punt this football away. Fielded by Glod at midfield. We're going to get a flag on the play as he's taken down. It'll be no yards as multiple Lancers in to make the tackle on that one, including number 46, Brady Penner, the long snapper, in on that tackle. And an interesting story for Penner, he didn't play football last year. He played basketball. Back this year as the long snapper and first time middle linebacker, a key part of that defense.
And I made a note to myself after watching.
No yards, Dakota 26, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Really aggressively, and for a MAC linebacker, that's what you need. And when Oak Park is in their downhill run set, you need your MAC to be able to come up and smash. On the other side, like just with him, one defensive player I want to highlight is Alex Clank is number 2. He hasn't shown up yet in the game, but I'm sure he will. They've kind of split him out as he's a Sam linebacker, so he's going to be a halfback, but he does not play like halfback. He is playing like a linebacker. Here's Oak Park out in that quad set with number 40, so he's going to come slice across the formation again.
Glod gets the handoff, trying to surge forward for some extra yards, keeps those legs turning, and it's going to end up being a gain of about 4 on the play. The big boys coming in to get a little bit of extra push at the end.
Yeah, this is clearly a game plan that Coach Giesbrecht came in to maybe try and limit some of those defensive ends. So Ryan North, a really prolific defensive end for Dakota, number 42, he was the one that Bramwell, number 40, sliced to. And it's just a way to occupy a super athletic end. Rather than him playing the quarterback in space, now he's got to play through a block. Very clever, very great way to kind of mix up how you're running your zone.
That would be a huge storyline in this game. Trayson Burnett Joseph and Ryan North are very dangerous defensive ends for Dakota as this ball is handed off, and it's going to be a first down as Finn Bramwell moves the chains.
Yeah, grandson of Gil Bramwell, who's another historic coach for Oak Park here. He's been kind of there. Oh, he's down again, unfortunately. He's been taking a lot of impacts already, and he's been taking impacts all year, but he's definitely someone who's going to be the hammer and not the nail going into contact. This has been a staple for Oak Park all season, is when they need those dirty 5 yards just to grind it out, they hand off that dive to 40, and he's just going to get low underneath, be a little cannonball going through that line of scrimmage, and he's very difficult to bring down on first contact, and he's able to keep his feet churning to grind and grind and grind first downs, and he's done it all year.
It's a good example of that versatility. Coach Olson talking about Oak Park's identity as a group, saying, I think our ability to be different week to week is our identity. We don't have our one thing we're going to do over and over. It's going to be days where Taven Pirani is involved in the football game. Maybe it's Adam Kilmister dominating the football game. Maybe it's Braden throwing some footballs. Maybe it's our running backs, or it's Amias coming in on special teams. It's the epitome of a team game. I think that's what makes us dangerous. You can't shut down just one. You're going to have to shut down 6. Raiders in the I formation. Kohanski under center. Ross is the fullback, and Glod is the lead back. It's Glod on the carry, cuts it to the outside. First down, right block downfield, right down to the 6-yard line. Exceptional lead block by Adam Kilmister on that side of the plane.
And this is a great example of what Oak Park's done really well here. This is a neat little concept. So I would refer to this as a stretch concept. It's basically lead, but typically you're going to see lead going up an open B gap, or an A gap is more of a midline. They run this off tackle. A few programs in our league do this. You have a fullback coming down on a defensive end. That's usually not a matchup you want. Defensive ends can usually handle fullbacks, but if that fullback gets in, the defensive end has a choice. He either has to spill it and go inside, and now the linebacker has to chase, like we just saw, and I'll come back to this next time we see it.
Excuse me, that was Amias first on the carry. This time it's Grayson Ross going right up the middle, pushing forward all the way down to the 1-yard line.
And when they need it, they're going to hand that ball off. Now it looks like they're going to their jumbo package, where they're going to make sure they've got some extra bodies coming in, and I wouldn't be surprised if we just see either that QB sneak or another downhill dive run, where they're just going to try and grind out this last yard. So I'm going to finish this thought on that stretch. So when that fullback's coming down on that defensive end, if that end spills it, he goes inside, now the tailback bounces and the linebacker's chasing space. If that end gets kicked out, it gives the running back a downhill running lane. Both are good options for the offense.
Kohanski under center.
Well, you've got Ross
under center, excuse me. Ball's on the ground, still loose. It looks like it's recovered by the Raiders. Getting on top of it was Rylan Bayless, but that one did not work the way the Raiders were hoping.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the idea behind it. Obviously, very CFL staple to put that body back there, the big body to take the snap and just get the positive yards. But, you know, that's not necessarily a position where you take a lot of snaps. So when you start to get this slick ball, it's just a little bit tougher. And good job on Dakota to still hold the line. Like, he can't, you know, be on the ground and pick the ball up, but it wasn't like there was a clear path into the end zone anyway. Dakota's doing a good job standing tall right now when they have to.
Ross is once again going to go under center from the 1, and again, loose football, he gets it back, touchdown! Flag on the play as Ross bobbles it, and then gets it back and gets in the end zone.
Now this one, like I said, you can't be down on the ground and pick it up, but when you get the luckiest bounce you can possibly get in that situation.
Illegal procedure, Oak Park, no end, 3rd down repeated.
Where he can corral it and get in the end zone, that's gonna take care of business. Now, waiting to see what's happening here.
Yeah, we got a penalty on the play. We're just determining what the call is. It's procedure against Oak Park. Here's Matt Urbanovich. I think we're going to get... I didn't see the official make the call down there, but it was procedure.
And I feel like I may have talked through what he said, unfortunately. I wasn't paying close enough attention to that.
Can confirm that it was procedure against the Raiders, so out comes the special teams unit.
Yeah, I would be Rylan patching Bowen here. Absolutely has the leg for this. This is as much of a gimme as you can ask for from the kicker perspective. But, that's our. But the operation still has to be clean. You still have to snap that ball. You still need a clean hold. Get it onto the puck. It's not a free kick. but it's definitely within his range if they can take care of the operation.
Conditions not favorable for trying to keep this ball down, but a great job there from the Oak Park Special Teams unit. That is up and good from Patrick Bowie, and the Raiders have a 3-0 lead.
That was a really good job with the operation. Snap was a little high. It was off the puck a little bit, but they adjusted really, really well. Concentration came through. You put it through the uprights. That's just a good job in less than favorable conditions. Dakota opting to take the ball on the 35, so that's an option in our league. Is after an amateur football here in Canada, after a field goal, it's the team's choice if they want to be kicked off to, or if they want to take the ball on the 35. Dakota opting to take it on the 35 and opting to take it on the left hash mark, so they want that space off to Hussain's right.
Khalil Hussain lining up in the pistol formation. Stretch play to the short side. We've got a flag on the plays. It's a first down, but we'll wait for the call. Getting more than enough was Reed Monkman, again, who will get a bulk amount of the carries with Noah Lee not in this game, but we'll wait for the flag.
This is
holding Dakota number 74. 10-yard penalty, first down repeated.
Outside zone, when they're trying to get that ball off tackle with just the offensive line getting on their track and running their feet, all four of the tackles in this game do a great job reaching those ends. They're aggressive off the snap. They got that nice little gang slide in some cases where they're trying to force that end. Are you going to stay outside and give us a gigantic B gap, or are you going to jump inside and give us our lane?
Great lead block by Daddy Vallejo, one of the really important leaders on that offensive line, as Hussain tries to set up a screen pass to Monkman, but he had pressure, couldn't get it there.
Guess who?
Grayson Ross.
Yeah, so I love this screen pass that Dakota runs here. So they run their counter tray, which is one of their bread and butter. They bring that counter tray, they give the play action off of it, and then they give a little bit of a rollout screen pass back towards where the pullers were. It's a great little design, but once you know it's coming as a linebacker like Ross did, he was able to sift through the offensive line, be in position, almost get an interception.
Quads to the strong side as now Monkman motions out of the backfield on a wheel route. Hussain's going that way, and this one is whistled dead.
Yeah, we had Ross kind of coming up on a five-man pressure look here. So what a lot of teams will like to do, in particular Oak Park, is they'll hide a 50 front with a backer blitz. So they're going to have that defensive end jump into the B gap.
Offside, Oak Park, number 5. 5-yard penalty, repeat second down.
And like Ross, who's also a defensive lineman, off the edge and kind of hiding that 50 front. He was a little eager on the snap count there. He ended up kind of getting across the line and taking that 5-yard penalty. But there was what we kind of talked about, although I guess they considered him unabated to quarterback. I'm not sure why he got blown dead. But that tailback released out on that rail route. It wasn't that rail mesh concept, but they're trying to get him open in space on a linebacker.
Wall motions to the short side. Hussain is looking for him on the corner route, and that one incomplete by Myers first.
Yeah, Myers is a phenomenal defensive back. And I know when I was talking to Coach Olson earlier in the year, he didn't have enough good things to say about how when they need someone shut down, Amias is who they're going to go to. He's a coach on the field. He knows what's going on. I know one game that I paid a lot of attention to is when Oak Park was playing Crocus Plains. And Crocus Plains came out with a really good concept to attack Oak Park's man coverage, because they love man coverage. A lot of crossing routes, a lot of over-under mesh. And after a couple reps, I'll wait till after the punt.
Low snap, good job fielding in that one by Preston Benjamin. Taking at the 50-yard line, and a solid return by Glob. And that's where Oak Park will field this football just inside the Dakota 50, winning the field position battle early.
Yeah, so on that over-under concept that the Crocus was running, it was a really great idea. It had a couple receivers popping open early, and they ran it with some success 2 or 3 times, and then you saw Oak Park immediately adjust to seeing the halfbacks recognize the route combination, and rather than chasing, start falling off to it. And I was talking to Coach Olson about that, and he was talking about how Amias is just so easy to help them make adjustments on field for. And we see it not just that intelligence, but that athleticism on that last Dakota offensive play.
Yeah, Amias first, younger brother of Onan first now. He was a Regina Rams commit on that team over the last few years. That ball knocked down incomplete. Hunter Tursky was in the area. This is a very, very strong, athletic, intelligent defensive line from the Lancers. Tursky in the middle, Trayson Burnett Joseph and Ryan North off the edges, coached by the legendary Glenn Scrivener.
Yeah, and Tursky is really, he's a big body who's also really quick off the ball. He had a very good year. I think I might be mistaken here, but I believe he is grade 10. Like he's had a phenomenal year for a grade 10 playing at this level. Is very impressive.
Yeah, we'll talk more about the impact of Glenn Scrivener as this game goes along. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders. It's Kohanski. Handoff. Loose football. That one's on the turf, and the Dakota Lancers are on top of it. The first turnover of this game goes to DCI. Ryan North in your pictures, pumped up about it. He's the man that got his hand on the football.
Yeah, that's a great, like we saw this in the last game if you joined us for it. The ball ended up on the ground quite a bit as the conditions kind of worsened here. Now that ball, like that's a leather football that's going to just start getting a little bit slick as the night goes on. And a lot of it is going to be when that ball's on the ground, who's going to be able to fight to be the ones on top of it. So Dakota ending up with their best field position of the night after the turnover.
That was Ryland Bayless on the carry. North got a hand in there. Didn't catch the guy that got on top of it, but there was a Lancer in the area, and Dakota capitalizes with this football now on first down. It's Reed Monkman getting solid yardage on first down.
And that's a good example. It wasn't quite that stretch, more of a stretch play. So this is Dakota's version of it where they're going to have that lead blocker off tackle. It's still essentially their outside zone, but whereas Oak Park kind of runs it as that downhill where they leave the play side end. Dakota's tackle, as I was talking about earlier on the outside zone, was reaching that outside end and trying to make a huge B gap to turn up. And as they turn it up, they get that 4 yards, and the backside pursuit from Oak Park's the one who gets there.
Hussein on 2nd and 7, looking for a man. Now he's going to step up, trying to get there himself. He's going to be short of the first down.
Yeah,
Two Raiders in to make the tackle.
Yeah, and that's something that Hussein's really good about doing. He is not afraid to escape the pocket when he has a running lane. And he's got great vision downfield, but he's also a really good run threat as well. So when they start moving those bodies around, and if the defense is flying around to it, and that's what we're seeing a lot at Oak Park right now. They're doing a lot of movement in the box. They're bringing a lot of, not necessarily what I would consider exotic pressures yet, but there's still some twists, some stunts. The linebackers are coming downhill, and that's going to get you pressure in the backfield. That's going to get the offensive line defensively hoping moving backwards, but it's also going to potentially create some seams for quarterbacks to escape in.
Jackson Spott was the man that made that tackle, setting up third down. I want to go back quickly to Ryan North. He's one of two players on this Lancers team that have been a part of the back-to-back Anavets Bowl championship teams. Started as a grade 10, and he said you get less nervous in these moments because you're more prepared for what's coming. You know what the pregame is going to look like. You've been through it, and I've won. You know what you're getting into. I know I'm confident I can get the job done. We can get the job done. Big play for him early. But the Lancers offense unable to capitalize on the turnover. Oak Park getting this football back at their own 35-yard line. It's Adonis Glod on the return.
Really good job from Quinn Sloggett there, keeping contained. Glod took that punt on the run in space. The ball didn't hang up very high. It was a bit of a lower punt, and he got underneath it with some space. But Sloggett was right in position to turn that back into his help, and that's a great example of that importance of contain. If you can turn it back inside to the 11 other players, you can limit even dangerous returners like Glod.
Adonis Glod, younger brother of Delano Glod. There are a lot of family connections, brotherly connections on both sides of these rosters, as Kohanski with the jet sweep to the ever-dangerous Taven Pirani, and he takes that one up for a gain of about 6. And if they can get Pirani going, that's going to open up a lot of stuff for this Oak Park Raiders offense. Extremely fast, extremely athletic. Talked to him during this past week, and he made it clear, and everybody that's watched him over the years, another standout underclassman, knowing he's an explosive player, saying, I'm an explosive player, a shifty guy when I'm on offense, and when I'm on defense, I'm a big hitter wherever the ball is. That's what I do best.
Yeah, if they can get him going, he's such a crucial part of their offense. The other thing that I wouldn't be surprised to see even in this weather is getting Kilmister alone on an ISO side.
Handoff trying to cut it to the outside, but Ryan North says no. Stop for a loss. Big play by the senior.
Yeah, this is a great job for Ryan to kind of hold his gap there. So we get the eye candy and Perini coming across the formation. You know, we just hit the jet sweep. Now we're looking at him. Now they bring that puller to try and get him. And North does. So there's two ways to play that puller as a defensive. Well, there's multiple ways to play it, but the two most successful ones, you're going to see either a wrong arm technique, where that defensive end is going to attack the puller, and rather than keeping their outside arm free, they're going to hit him with that wrong arm and spill it outside to linebackers. Or what we just saw from Ryan there, if you're strong and tough enough to stand in there, is all referred to as a 50-50. You're going to take that puller on with your shoulder and then be able to play off of it and make that tackle for a loss.
Head coach Abbas Butt, is this punt nearly blocked by the Lancers, and it's going to careen out of bounds just past the 40. Head coach Abbas Button talking about Ryan North, saying he's just a game changer. He can disrupt an offense so easily. Immediately, you know what you're getting. He's the type of guy that guys rally around. He's the energy guy for our team. He's the guy that breaks us down usually at the end of practice. He's a leader. Guys look to him to get focused. Early on in this game, Ryan North stepping up for the Dakota Lancers on defense as they field this football from their own 41-yard line. See what offensive coordinator Boyd Barrett has drawn up. Split backs for Hussein. Figs to Monkman, tried to find a receiver open, couldn't get it there, and he's just going to take it up the middle for a short gain. Right in his kitchen was Patrick Nizi-Giamana.
And that's another look for Dakota, where they're still going to try and do some of the same things they're always doing. They often, when they're in that gun split look, so quarterbacks in shotgun, they've got two running backs beside him. One of those running backs is going to be a jive back. That's actually a receiver who's going to leak out to a trips formation. But sometimes they'll walk them down into that like tight sing, you know, if you're American, you might call it a sniffer roll, where they're down in that gap, and they'll move him around to create play action opportunities.
Raiders showing pressure. Now they back away from it. Hussein has that pass knocked down and incomplete. Right in on the coverage to bat that one away was Grayson Ross once again.
Yeah, that's a 3 technique. That's a defensive interior running with that crossing route as a receiver and being in position to get a hand on that ball. He's trailing, but he's not in bad coverage. He's actually in really great coverage to be able to play that effectively. Again, what he's done these last 2 weeks from this linebacker role has been incredibly impressive to me. For someone who is already impressive as a D interior, what he's done as a linebacker has been phenomenal.
Raiders really gelling as the year's gone on in the playoffs. They outscored their opposition 91-12 over 2 games. As this one is booted away, takes a favorable Oak Park bounce to about the 44-yard line, and they will field it there.
Yeah, this has been a prolific offense all year.
Yeah, so many dangerous weapons. You talk about Travis Irving and Adam Kilmister. Those 2 receivers, also very capable playmakers who I'm sure offensive coordinator Aaron Giesbrecht will want to get involved also as this game goes along. But with the weather the way that it is, certainly the run game has been the story early on. And of course, Chris Olsen made mention of that, saying if our O-line comes off and starts blocking the way that they should, we are going to be okay.
Now this is a classic look for Dakota against trips, as they're going to their too high shell, which kind of opens up the run game.
Speaking of which, big gain to the outside, first down and then some, still going, it's Amai's first, breaking down inside the 20 to the 10 to the 5, touchdown! Raiders, Amai's first, it's Pater!
And that's a great example. Again, I'm glad we have a little bit of foreshadowing with it. That was that stretch play, and the defensive end jumped inside, which is a fine way to play it. It spills it out to your linebacker, but now that linebacker in space and through contact has to take down an incredibly elusive, fast, athletic back, and Amai's first. The linebacker isn't able to get there. Now the defense is chasing in angles that you don't necessarily want because we committed too high to the safety, and just a speed play from first there. And Dakota's been playing this game tough. Like, it's 10-0, or sorry, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself right now. 9-0 with the PAT on the board here. But there, as much as we've been kind of talking about Oak Park and it's felt like an Oak Park game, Dakota's moving the ball. They're stopping Oak Park when they need to, and if not for that one huge chunk play, if not for a couple special teams, if not for some turnovers, if not for a couple small plays, that's been the difference in the game so far. So this is still a long way from over. Even though it's now as many touchdowns scored in this game as there were in their Week 1 matchup with 8 minutes left in the half, This is still a ton of football to be played, and Dakota is not a team that's going to go quietly into that good night. They have great players, they have great coaches, they have a great program. Their offense is going to respond and move the ball. Their defense is going to respond and try and generate some turnovers, and at the very least, some 2-and-outs. And I will expect some great things from Dakota kind of moving forward on this next drive.
You mentioned it. It was a defensive battle in week 1 when these two teams faced off. 11-3 with just 1 touchdown. It was on a fumble recovery for a score, and these two sides definitely not the same teams that they were in week 1. And of course, Chris Olsen making mention of that, knowing that they needed to run the ball more in that game. Braden Kohanski come a long way at quarterback since that moment in time. The run game definitely paying dividends early for Oak Park as the speedster Amias First gets the first major of this game. Big return on the other end though from the Lancers. It's Brady Templeton with a huge gain up past the 50-yard line to flip the field.
That's a great example of just how fast special teams can kind of turn things around for a team. Now we're starting with even better field position for Dakota. Dakota's field position has done nothing but get better and better and better throughout the game. And it feels like it's only a matter of time before they're going to be in that red zone and be an opportunity to put some points up themselves.
Dakota looking for the response on offense. 8 minutes to go, first quarter. Looking to find their groove. They've got quads to the strong side. Single back is Reed Monkman, motioning out now. Hussein looking deep. That one incomplete, just under the outstretched arms of the intended target, Marek Voyevich. We've got a flag on the play as well.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of just kind of spreading things out, and they're finding opportunities to take their vertical shots. Now, anytime that ball's going to hang up there, they've got to be careful because Tavin Perini's at safety right now. Taven Perini's at safety. I know I'm not getting his name right. I apologize, David.
Offside, Oak Park, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
He's at safety right now. Play the quarterback's eyes and fly to that ball. He is incredibly dangerous back there.
Yeah, Taven Brandy is an incredible playmaker at that safety spot. He made a whole bunch of big plays in the Anavets Bowl last year as well. And again, he just loves hitting hard on defense. Again, wherever the ball is, Taven Pirani is going to be near it basically every single time. As that one taken by Monkman on 1st and 5, gain of about 4.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of like grinding out football you want to have here on a 1st and 5. Is like, hey, let's just go get 4 yards on the ground, nothing too fancy. Let's let our O-linemen work because there are a lot of really great offensive linemen on Dakota here. They're going to be able to move that ball.
Yeah, Chris Slipich at that center position, helping to lead the charge. Coach Abnus Butt talking about the impact that Chris has had on this team. Grade 11 center, moved up his grade 10 year. He's so valuable for us. He gets the guys set on that O-line, someone that's so determined to get extra work in practice and take that seriously. As Hussein tries to get that 1 yard needed, he should have enough off of the initial surge.
Yeah, he's in great position right off the ball there. He found a little bit of a bubble off to his offensive left. The defense didn't quite collapse as much as I'm sure Coach Schofield would want them to have done there. And we're just resetting the sticks, 10 yards up, go get another 10 is the goal.
Dakota inside of the Oak Park 50.
So Dakota's going to come on their diamond look here. They're going to set this quad to the ISO side. Now they've got someone uncovered. So they've been playing, they've got options here. If you're going to go one-on-one, they might take their poke to the ISO. There's lots of space out there.
Instead, they'll take it on a handoff. Gain of about 5 to Monkman down near the 40-yard line. As you mentioned, they had ISO'd on that other side, Darius Sapong-Reen.
Yeah, and he was uncovered for a moment as Oak Park was kind of flipping around who's supposed to be where. And so in that kind of look, Dakota has a few options. If you're going to play one-on-one, they might take that shot. If you've got low numbers to the diamond, they can throw a bubble screen over there. If you've got both accounted for, you got a light box, you can hand the ball off and get 6 yards out of it.
Monkman and Templeton split backs with Hussein. Templeton motioning out now. Handed off to Monkman. Not going to get much. Stopped up near the line of scrimmage by a whole bunch of Raiders, including Antonio Deliahosking. Or excuse me, number 52, Adrian Moore.
Yeah, Moore really stuffed that up really nicely, but the feet kept pumping on both sides of the ball, and it became a good little football play. Now we're in that like no man's land. So it's 3rd and short, but if you're punting from here, you know, if you're putting it in the end zone, they're getting on 20 anyway. It looks like Dakota is going to opt to punt, but I understand a little bit of thought happening here. You know, you're starting to balance, okay, can we get that first down? If we don't, well, we're not giving them fantastic field position. Punting the ball here, you're hoping you can get them inside the 10, because then that's going to net you, 30 yards of field position. But if you get in a position where they're getting that ball out to the 20 even, well, you only net 10 to 12 yards. So no man's land can be tough for a coach to deal with.
This is Templeton punting this football away. Takes a bounce off of the Raiders, the leg of the returner for Oak Park, down near the 10-yard line. It was Glod scooping that ball up.
Yeah, blown dead very quickly there. So that worked out really well for Dakota, even with a little bit of a botch snap. So great job from the punter to stay calm and get his foot on the ball. Get in position where when that knuckler comes in and it's just almost rolling low on the ground, that's tough for that, that returner to field. So great choice from the Dakota coaching staff to punt that ball, even though it's, probably very tempting to try and go 3rd down. Now, you get a tune out, you're going to be in position to have even better field position to start. And does that field position battle continue to start to tilt towards Dakota here? I'm sure that Coach Geldhart for Dakota is hoping his defense can hold to that 2-and-out right now.
High formation, Kohanski under center. Handed off and nothing doing, stuffed right away by Brady Penner.
That's a great job from Penner to trigger to that. Like, he does a really good job when he recognizes, get that kind of double dive look where the running backs are splitting to the open gaps. That lets the linebackers really free up to trigger to their gap responsibilities. And he just met him in the gap, did a great job controlling the tackle all the way through and limiting it to a 1-yard gain, a half-yard gain, virtually a nothing. So putting him in a 2nd and long situation.
Penner previously played D-line with Ryan North with the Mustangs. Then he got moved to O-line in grade 9 and grade 10. Didn't play in grade 11. And then Brandon Bartoni, who was their MAC, tore his ACL last year, out for the season. Penner coming back as that ball is caught. 1st down for Oak Park, and once again it's Grayson Ross.
So this is something Oak Park loves to do, and they're in their gun split formation. So I mentioned Dakota likes to split one receiver out. Oak Park loves to pass out of it. It's one of the only times they're a heavy pass team with two running backs in the backfield, but they love releasing them on those flats. They'll run hooks, they'll run verticals, go routes behind it, but they love having that option. And when you've got a big body that can catch the ball in space and just rumble for that 1st down, it's a great option to have.
Grayson Ross making his presence felt on both sides of the ball like he's done all year. We've got the jet sweep, giving it to the speedster, Taven Parani. Solid gain on 1st down again. He averages at least 5 or 6 every time he touches the rock on those plays.
And this is such a good base play. Very, not simple. You still have to run everything really well, but you're basically trading who's playing tailback. The tailback comes down as that stretch outside blocker, and Parani's taking that handoff off to the edge. It's another way to run that outside zone, but just mixing up who's getting the touch and who's got what blocking responsibilities. But nothing changes for the O-line, and that's the crucial part.
2nd and 6. Kohanski, that pass is incomplete. Great work from Peyton Clark, one of the 9 members of Dakota on the U18 squad for Manitoba this past summer.
Yeah, really patient to sit on that hitch route, that 5-yard stop, to just kind of, because sometimes you got that route right in your face, smash concept's really popular in football, where you've got that hitch route, that 5-yard stop, and a corner route behind it. If you get sucked up, that corner route becomes an open option. So to be patient and not jump it immediately, but let the quarterback take you there and then rally, deliver a on-time blow and disrupt that pass is a fantastic job from 30.
Brady Templeton is the lone returner back for Dakota. Tries to field that one in the air. He does. Great work as he cuts it up past midfield into Oak Park territory.
And I don't know if this is now their best starting field position, but it's certainly going to be close. Again, that field position battle has slowly been eating away towards Dakota. When you think of their first drives of the game starting on their own 10-yard line, now they've had 2 drives starting at midfield or better. Now can Coach Barrett capitalize?
Final play before the 3-minute warning. Monkman is the single back with Hussein in the pistol. Trips to the strong side. Hussein looking for someone downfield. What a grab We have a flag on the play as well, but that is an incredible catch by Darius Sapong-Green.
So this is a great concept that a lot of programs like Iran, Dakota's got this as bread and butter for them. Is, you know, we refer to it as like a gin, is going in. So you have your slot backs are running seams, they're just running verticals. Your wide receivers are running digs, 10 to 12-yard ins, and your
Unnecessary roughness. Hands to the face, Dakota, Oak Park 25. 15 yards from the end of the play, first down.
It's a great concept because I usually refer to it as a freeze concept. You can make the safety wrong. Wherever that safety goes, if they sit on the D route, you can come to one of your seams. If they get over top of a seam, you go to the other one. And if the defense does a really good job, maybe in a zone situation where they get over top of all the verticals, those digs in high school are always open. Those are very tough for corners to cover, but they're also always contested catches. So fantastic job from Darius Sapong-Green to bring that one in.
Again, Hussein in the pistol. He's going to give it to Monkman. Cuts up, gets great space. Monkman still going. Monkman to the end zone. Touchdown, Lancers!
I'll tell you right now, that was a beautiful zone run from the offensive line. That looked like teach tape. If you're watching this replay, you're going to see this offensive line all explode off the ball to the offensive right. They get on their train tracks, and they are running their defenders as best they can. And that's the thing that makes zone so effective, is there isn't a designed running lane. It's going to where the defense isn't. All you need is one blocker to get a seam, to get a cutback lane, and now your playmaker gets into space, and he's breaking tackles to get into that end zone. That was a phenomenal job getting their offensive linemen on their tracks.
You saw Felon Lewick, one of those lead blockers, right on that replay, getting big push, allowing Monkman to surge into the end zone as the Lancers have their first major of the day. We mentioned off the top, lead back Noah Lee, who was really important for this team in the run game all year, not playing in this game. Monkman stepping up with 102 rushing yards and a score in the regular season, averaging almost 7 yards a carry on the ground, making a big difference on that drive.
Yeah, and that was just a really good, like, Lancer drive. I'm sure that's exactly what they wanted to be. They kind of came back. They didn't run as much motion, a lot of movement. They didn't come to some of their second or third progression plays. They came out and they ran their zone. They came out and they ran their gin concept, whatever they call it. They ran the things that got them here, and were able to progress down that field in that methodical way. It wasn't like a large number of play drives. It was still just some good chunks, but it's exactly what they've been able to do all year, is have that good sound football. Now they do love this look on their kickoff, so they show a couple bunches, and then they're gonna typically spread into a standard kickoff. But if you don't adjust, if you give them something they like, they're not gonna be afraid to try and take that short kick.
Brady Templeton gets set to boot this football away to returners back for Oak Park. That's a great kick all the way back to the 5-yard line. Amias first grabs it there. Breaks away from one defender, and a big return the other way from Amias first. He's still on his feet, and he's liable to go off. He had the score on the last drive for the Raiders. He had a big return touchdown against Vincent Massey to set the tone as well, and another huge return here.
Great return, great blocking. I think the most impressive thing about this is him tracking that ball and catching it over the shoulder like a receiver. You won't see it on the replay here, but if you back up the feed because you want to look at it, he tracks that ball like he's running a route and catches it over the shoulder. Incredibly dangerous to do on special teams. Not as dangerous on kickoff as it is on punt, but if he doesn't control that, Dakota's going to be bearing down. For him to catch that, wheel around, and get a really positive return is incredibly impressive. Oak Park back in their trips two-back set here.
Kohanski handing this football off. Once again, it is first, still churning forward. Still going, and that's going to be another quality gain on first down.
Yeah, and that's, you know, Coach Griesbeck recognizing, like, hey, we just scored a touchdown on this play. Let's see, like, you know, there's an idea that I think about as a defense coordinator. They won't fix it until we break it. Like, if they can run the same play all the way down the field, as a defense, you have to be the one to prove you can stop it. So them coming out and still getting 5-6 yards out of it, yeah, it wasn't a touchdown, but that's a good set-the-tone run for this drive as Oak Park tries to respond.
Great work as well by offensive line coach Tyler Fabry, as that's Grayson Ross pushing those feet forward, spinning away. Big first down for Oak Park.
Yeah, at some points physics gets involved here, right? You know, that force equals mass times acceleration. Well, the mass is going to be a pretty big factor in that equation. And when you've got a big body who is still athletic, they're going to be able to grind out those yards. And that's something, again, I mentioned it on that first drive, Oak Park's been able to do all year. Still in that two-back set, but coming out in that trips, again, trying to force Dakota into that too-high shell to try and expose some things.
Handoff, not much on that carry. Lancers do a good job holding the line of scrimmage. Hunter Tursky in there to make the stop.
Yeah, really great job just collapsing down there. So now Dakota is getting used to the contact, getting used to the speed, getting used to everything of just getting into Oak Park's run game. Again, they haven't seen a team run the ball like Oak Park since week 1 with Oak Park. So for them to kind of readjust to this kind of run game, that was a fantastic job of just collapsing down and making sure that's a minimal gain. It's putting Oak Park into now their 5R set, their finger set.
2nd and 8 for the Raiders. Kohanski in the shotgun formation, quads to the strong side. Too high for the Lancers. That one is incomplete. Pirani, the intended target, but in and out of his hands.
Yeah, and that's something to do. So earlier in the game, we saw Pirani come across the formation as a little bit of eye candy. As Oak Park pulled to that side, they ran their zone look out of it. Now they give similar pre-snap motion. You want offenses, this has become a big thing in football, is offense becoming multiple. You have the same look, the same pre-snap motion, the same formations, but now the only difference that you can really tell as a defense is post-snap, and that makes it a lot more difficult for a defense to deal with. So great job from Dakota's defense to recognize that play action and be in position, even if that was a completion, to be in position to make a play on Pirani there.
Park set to kick this one away, patching Boeing. That high boot fielded by Templeton at the 20-yard line. Moved up to the 25, and not much more. A bevy of Raiders in there to make the stop. First man in to make the tackle. Amiri Jones.
Yeah, and met there also with a good team tackle with Dante Sims getting down the field as the grade 9 on this Oak Park Raiders team.
Yeah, there are some standout underclassmen on both sides of the field here. Adonis Claude, another one of those young studs. The lone grade 9 on this roster, though, as you mentioned, is Dante Sims for Oak Park. Hussein in the pistol, motioning out of the backfield. Monkman, jet sweep here, trying to cut it upfield and gain some extra yardage. Is J.J. Wall taken down after a gain of about 3 on the play. Once again, it's Grayson Ross.
Yeah, that was a great job on that jet sweep. They're also doing great work with Coach Bear designing that jet sweep, having a couple extra pullers in there as well. So a little bit of almost a pin and pull just to get those angles. Sometimes on jet sweep, your offensive line are going to become certainly not unnecessary, but they're now going to be chasing linebackers that are flying around. That's very difficult. So when you can do a bit of a pin and pull, you're going to give your O-line better angles.
Hussein back to pass. That one high and incomplete, trying to find J.J. Wall. Exceptional work by Amias first, the form tackle, and he was on him like glue on that side of the field.
Yeah, that's a great idea of recognizing when to play ball and when to play man. When that ball comes out where it does, as quick as it does, Amias recognizes, I'm not playing this ball. There's not a situation where I'm going to get this interception, so I'm going to play the man. Again, if that's a catch, that's a tackle for a loss. Well, I shouldn't say tackle for a loss, but that's going to be a minimal gain and probably a punt situation anyway. The incompletion almost became inconsequential at that point. Dakota coming out in their spread punt formation here, so they didn't show this a ton throughout the year that I noticed, but now a lot more reliable to keep returners contained.
Templeton kicks it away. This one taken by Adonis Glod. He's going to go backwards to his own 50 to try and find the edge. He's got some space to the outside. Late flag on the play as he's eventually careened out of bounds. We'll wait to see what the call is with 15 seconds to go in the first half.
Yeah, there's a couple ways for returners to take advantage of kicks. Sometimes when the kick goes, and you know this is not what happened here, it's a common special football, out kicking your coverage. When the kick goes too deep, which is, again, feels like a silly thing to say, when the kick goes too deep, you've got room to work with. Or
unnecessary roughness, blindside block, Oak Park, number 16, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Get gets on them quick. It's almost like a bullet pass. It comes out to them. Now, it's the same idea as out-kicking your coverage in that when you get control of that ball, the cover team is still too far away and you've got space to try and get to the perimeter. So again, it requires you to catch that ball that's flying at you. But great job controlling it and getting those positive yards, and then, of course, penalty, getting involved in the game.
Kohanski single back with quads to the strong side. It's going to be a screen pass to Pirani. Gets away from one defender, but can't get away from the second. Good work once again by Brady Penner in to make the stop.
And that's been a lot of just how Oak Park has moved the ball throughout the years. Those short passes that become long gains. And it's their bubble screens, it's through their quick outs. They love showing it, in this case, off of play action or potentially an RPO look, although that one felt a little more play action-y than RPO, that run pass option. But that idea of just, we can run the ball for the 5 yards, or if you're going to give us space to throw the ball for 5+ yards, we'll take what you're going to give us.
Kohanski to the middle of the field. That one complete loose football. The Lancers have it. Surging down the near sideline. Breaking away inside the 35. Recovered on the play by Alex Plank at the end of the half. And Oak Park is lucky that it's not going to cost them in terms of any points, as that'll end the first half. But that is a momentum earning play for Dakota to go into the break.
Yeah, that one is that, it's that bittersweet. Like, what a great play to kind of corral Pirani over the middle there. That's a dangerous player in space. Then to just disrupt that ball, get it on the ground for Klenk to be in position, and that's a very athletic, dangerous player. He gets that nice hop that Ross got earlier right up into his hands at the waist, and now he's getting positive yards. But there's no time on the clock, so that bittersweet of it is, yeah, we got the turnover, but now we can't capitalize on it. But neither did Oak Park, so it feels very 50-50.
We've got a great game here, and who would have expected anything less between two top teams in the Winnipeg High School Football League, 6-1 each in the regular season, battling for supremacy here tonight. We'll be back in 12 on LRSD TV.
Hi, my name is Dioma, and I'm standing here with Coach of the Dakota Lancers, Oleg Switch. Coach, tell me, what's something you feel like your team needs to improve on for the second half?
Yeah, we just need to keep playing physical. We knew it was going to be a physical battle. It always is with Oak Park. They're playing a great game. We came out a little slow. We just got to continue to execute, and we'll be fine.
And I've noticed that you're a bit down. How do you plan to motivate your team to continue?
I think they're doing it themselves. We started, like I said, we started off a little slow. The bench was down a little bit, but hey, big plays change the momentum, and that's what happened just before half here. So I think we'll be good in the second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Are you a high school student that loves hairstyling? Well, you're in luck because the Riel Arts and Technology Center has a 3-semester hairstyling program. Whether you're passionate about cutting, coloring, or perming hair, hairstyling at the Riel Arts and Technology Center is a perfect place to jumpstart your career.
I love this program a lot because I love to work with clients a lot, and having the work hands-on, it's amazing because it shows a lot of opportunities and opens so many doors. There's 3 parts of this program to do, and after when you get to part 3 is when you do your final exam to get your certificate.
Our school salon isn't just for practicing, it's open to the public. Clients from the community can come in and experience the hard work our students do. During your time in this course, students will obtain knowledge in barbering hair, coloring, cutting, styling, and business skills. These skills give graduates the cutting edge needed to work in some of the best salons while using current techniques, tools, and equipment. Ready to take the first step towards a vibrant career in hairstyling? Scan the QR code on your screen right now or visit www.lretc.ca for more information.
Are you interested in an automotive career? Explore your passion at the Louis Riel Arts and Technology Center and learn from industry experts with professional equipment. Learn all about engines, wiring, bidirectional scanners, and so much more.
If you like trades and hands-on experience, yeah, you get good experience before graduating.
Programs like this are so rated or
Welcome to the world of sweetness. Here at LRATC, our teachers are not just teaching, they are making future pastry artists. Discover the joy of baking at LRATC, where every cake is a piece of happiness.
like just making different desserts that I would never really imagine myself making at home. Like, we're learning how to make croissants. I never would have thought to teach myself how to do that. So I get to learn it here.
For more information, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now.
Lay the foundation for your dream career. Take part in the Building Trades program at the Riel Arts and Technology Center, where we build futures. In this program, you'll learn carpentry, concrete, roofing, renovating, heating, plumbing, painting, cabinet making, and other areas that will prepare you for employment, apprenticeship, or further education. But hey, it's not all about hard hats and blueprints. Our program is designed to make learning enjoyable. Get ready to experience the thrill of creating, designing, and building in a fun and creative environment.
Hi, it's me, Anjola, and with me is Coach Chris Olsen of the Oak Park Raiders. Now, Coach, you're currently in the lead now. Although Dakota pulled through late in the second half, how do you intend to keep that position?
We just got to keep doing what we're doing and clean up the penalties. Really, if we just keep running the ball like we're doing and all that, we'll be fine. We're good.
And I see the confidence your team has on the field. How do you motivate your team as a coach to keep that confidence going?
They know how to play football. We've coached them up well, and they're good horses, so we're going to keep riding them, and we're going to get this here.
Thank you so much, Coach.
To start the second half, the Lancers will be kicking off on the north side of the field. Brady Temple comes in, tees up that ball in preparation for the kickoff. And his first and David Varady are keeper for the Raiders.
Welcome back to the second half of the Anavets Bowl here. My name is Dan Washnut calling the game with Mike Still. We're getting ready for the kickoff. The score, Oak Park Raiders 10, Dakota Lancers kicking off to Oak Park with 7. Dakota had a great finish that first half too. They were able to kind of get their momentum back underneath them. Are they going to be capitalized on this defensive series, or can Oak Park respond and get the ball back in the end zone? Pirani having a hard time controlling the ball, but he's dangerous with space. Now that he's got room, he's corralled with a great team tackle led by number 13 from Dakota Lancers, Ridwan Ayaji Rahim. And that's going to be where Dakota started the game in that first half, right near their 10-yard line. Again, the field position battle's been a big part of the day today, and it's slowly been tilting in Dakota's direction. If Oak Park gets a good, strong drive here, they're going to be in great position to continue to have that momentum in this game, but it's been slowly tipping back and forth, and I'm excited to see how Oak Park is able to respond on this first drive.
Raiders fielding this football from their own 11-yard line. One-score game, and obviously that is no surprise considering how talented these two teams were, how close they played in the regular season. Big gain here on first down, surging up past the 30-yard line, up past the 40, as Oak Park goes from the shadows of their own end zone into quality field position, and yet again it's Amyas first.
And Dakota did a great job at the point of attack. They were able to kind of shut down that lead play and be able to take it, but they just weren't able to finish on the cutback. As Amyas finds space to the backside, he's just able to outrun some angles. A couple of defenders maybe got a little anxious on him breaking free at the point of attack, and rather than maintaining their cutback lanes, starting to take in angles to prevent a touchdown.
Amyas first had that major in the first half, and he has been the game breaker early on in this contest as Grayson Ross, a big power back, once again with big yardage on first down, gaining 5 on that carry.
Yeah, and just again, every time this play comes up, it's just simple downhill smash mouth football. It's just handing the ball off to a big burly fullback who's looking to get as many yards as possible.
Cold conditions here tonight in Manitoba, and those hard yards definitely add up as this game goes along, and having a big power back like Ross certainly paying dividends. As the Raiders set up second and manageable. Kohanski under center. He's going to give it to Amias first. He's going to get to the outside, push forward, and it's going to be close to the first down.
Yeah, this is in a situation where Oak Park earlier in the game, like this is potentially a punting situation, but when you got 3rd and short, and again, you're getting those 4 or 5 yards of carry off of your lead, your dives, it's an opportunity to go convert that again. Now, because Dakota's expecting it, you know, the chess match, do you go play action? But Dakota has also stuffed them on a few of these downhill runs. This is not a gimme. This is a long 2. And Dakota's going to play tough here. Though most times Oak Park's run the ball out of the set right now has been out of trips.
Lancers stuff the box, and they get there for the stuff! Brady Penner and friends in to make the tackle. Ryan North in there as well. They stuff the box, and it pays off big time, breaking off of those blocks. And it's a turnover for the Lancers.
And there's one of those first points I made about Penner, number 46, just being downhill and aggressive when he triggers, and then Ryan North kind of cleaning it up as Ross was able to slip away from that first tackle. But maybe he doesn't make the tackle, but he absolutely made that play. And then Dakota starting off with some pretty good field position for their first drive. And Oak Park looking like they're going to take a timeout.
Yeah, let's just go back to that.
Down 1 player.
Yeah.
Timeout, Oak Park.
Go back to that previous play. You talk about North and that D-line overall as well. Glenn Scrivener leading that group for Dakota, of course, the Football Manitoba Hall of Famer, CFL great. And Ryan North talking about how much he focuses on their technique. Scrivener, big on technique with his guys, which has really helped a lot. In particular with North saying because he's an undersized defensive end, he helped up his game a lot in the run game, showing him where his hands need to be, the way he's shuffling, where he's hitting, certainly paid off on that last play for Dakota, getting the 3rd down stop, setting up the Lancers at the Oak Park 49-yard line. Hussein is going to hand this football off. Gain of about 3 for Reed Monkman.
Yeah, good hard-earned yards there, just kind of getting downhill on that zone. And, you know, last time they handed off that zone, it went for that 30, 40-yard rip and a touchdown. This time it goes for 3-4 yards, and that's zone. Zone is, you never know what you're going to kind of get with it. It's not that grinding lead or dive where you're kind of hoping for a guaranteed 5+ and getting 0 when you don't. Zone is might be 0, might be 3, might be 30.
Hussein with Monkman in the backfield. Single coverage, he's going deep. That ball is up, and it is caught, breaking away all the way down inside the 10-yard line. Great ball from Khalil Hussein, and that one complete to Brady Templeton.
And I've been talking about it both games tonight, the corner route in high school and how difficult it is to cover well, and it's difficult to throw and catch. Like, it's kind of the trade-off there. When you put that ball in a spot and let your receiver get underneath it, that's hard for defenders to cover. And that ball floats just enough for the DBs to misjudge it, for the safety to not get there in time, and for the receiver to be able to get underneath it.
Hussein hands this ball off to Reed Monkman, pushing forward all the way down to the 2-yard line. Biggest passing play of the day, setting the Lancers up inside the red zone. And you know that was a conversation at halftime between quarterbacks coach Brad Sarna, currently in the ear of Hussein, in terms of how to get that going. And early on in the 3rd quarter, Hussein dialing it up big.
That was a neat little front from Oak Park there. They kind of went to a cover 0 late. They brought their safety down late to let them cram the box. Now we're going to see a bump out from the receiver. They're going to come under center for their QB sneak.
Hussein takes this football himself, surging forward, trying to find Pater. And he's in! Touchdown! Big play, KJ! The Lancers have their first lead.
Yeah, big push on the line there. It came within that second and that 3rd effort for him to keep the feet chugging. Forward progress never really stopped. It just kind of slowly kept going forward until he popped over that line and got himself the 6. And Dakota taking their first lead of the night.
The Lancers ended the first half with a turnover. They start the 3rd quarter with a turnover, and now they have their first lead of this game, points off of a turnover. Templeton set to kick the convert. It is up, and it is good.
And Oak Park needs to respond now. And this is a team, it's not like this is a team that spent the entire year leading every single game they were in. They've been down in points before this season, Not very often, mind you. In fact, I'm not sure how many times it's happened. I just know it was at least once where they were able to settle down and respond. So for them to go down in this game isn't like you're going to see with some teams when adversity starts to happen, they start to kind of hang their heads, they get a little low, the energy drops. This is a team that can respond to adversity. This is a coach, and Coach Olsen, who knows how to get the most out of his players. So he's going to help them rally from this. On the flip side of it, Dakota has always been a high energy staff. They feed off of these opportunities. They feed off of this this situation where they can now go get those points and go put themselves in a situation to go win that championship. They're in a spot now as a defense where they can be really hungry. They know now as a defense, if we don't give any points up, we win. And as a defensive coach, as a defensive player, that's what you want to be. The moment you've got a lead, you got to think as a defense, oh, we win now because we're not giving up another point tonight.
Taven Pirani and Amias First are back deep for the Raiders. Templeton is set to kick this football away. Another solid boot. It's going to be Pirani bottling this ball, picks it up in his own 4-yard line, trying to get away from that first penetration. Can't do so. Good downfield kick cover by the Lancers, and they will start with this football just inside the 20.
Yeah, that was Ridwan Rahim, and I apologize if I'm getting that name wrong. That's his second special teams tackle on the night, and that's been crucial. When you can control those special teams, those hidden yards that we usually just think about offensive production, that becomes really big. Oak Park staying out in their 5R set, so Grayson Ross coming off the field for the first time in a while here. And they're going quads to the short side, which usually is where they're going to release the tailback out to the flats or bring Pirani across on a jet sweep. Pirani
does come across on the jet sweep, but it's a handoff, and there's nothing there. That Dakota front once again stops that one in the backfield for no gain, and Brady Penner continuing to make a huge impact in this football game.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Of earlier they had that same look and they were able to pull the ball. Now Oak Park going a little bit of hurry up here. Now we're seeing their quads to the ISO side, to the field side, and this might still be that tailback's a little wide. He's going to be on that rail route.
Passing situation here. Kohanski's got a man. That was up and incomplete. In and out of the outstretched hands of the intended target, Adam Kilmister. There's a flag on the play.
Sorry, I got excited calling it that rail route. I've been looking forward to it all night, but just an out and a hook behind. Great opportunity to get that first down, but just not able to finish the completion.
Coverage unnecessary roughness, Clark. Face mask. Dakota 42, 15 yards, first down.
Hands to the face. Either way, 15 yards and a first down for Oak Park helps them be extending a drive through the officials.
Raiders get this ball at the 36-yard line. Aided by the penalty. Kohanski with Adonis Squad in the backfield. Trips to the strong side. Kohanski's looking to the short side on the slant route. That pass is complete to Adam Kilmister, someone they're looking to get activated in the second half as they look to him on back-to-back plays.
And that's a good get back for Adam, just to kind of, that last one hit him in the hands, a high ball, but in a spot where he can catch it because he put it over a defender. That was a great pass. Now he comes back on the slant, good strong hands, gets good production out of it, and they're back in that hurry up, just trying to get on the ball here.
Kilmister, one of those 6 Raiders on Team Manitoba's squad at the U18 level this past summer, as that one is incomplete. J.J. Wall with the coverage. Intended target on the play. I can't see that number. That is very difficult to read from this angle. Looked to be number 9, the intended target, Taja Manalastis.
And that's something Oak Park clearly came out in the second half deciding, okay, let's not be so focused on some of these deep shots or even some of these behind the line passes. Let's take what they're giving us, running some shallow routes with some verticals over the top and just not able to complete on a couple here.
That one booted away, takes a Oak Park bounce all the way down inside the 20-yard line.
Now that's a beautiful rugby-style punt. So earlier, if you were with us for that first game, I was talking about rugby-style punts. We didn't really see it that game. We just saw a rugby-style punter. What we see here from the punter is you're going to notice when on these punts, he's going to roll out. He's going to be on his way. And the rugby-style punt is where if he doesn't have any defenders in his face, he can kind of keep running. He needs to get pressure for him to decide, okay, he's punting it. And the beautiful thing about that is as the wider he gets, the more it cuts the field down. And when you get a punt like that just angles out through the field, now this is some of the worst starting field position Dakota's had in a while.
Great kick by Travis Irving, and a sensational receiver for that team, and also making an impact as the punter as that first down carry goes for no gain.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal run swim from Adrian Moore here. He gets into his block and he swims, he punches over the top. Swimming is often, that I like to call it a punch more than a swim, but swim is how most of us know it as. To disengage from a run block isn't super common. Usually think of that as a pass rush. He disengages that block, he gets his hands out, and then he just cleans the arms off him in that swim. Beautiful job getting that backfield for a 0.
Hussein back to pass on second down. Pressure in his face, can't find anybody, and he's going to be taken down for a sack. It's Grayson Ross.
Yeah, that's this is where Hussein's ability to take off is present. He kind of looks at that first read, and Oak Park did a really good job covering it up, and he looked to escape, but by the time he could try and get out of the pocket, it had collapsed. And that's a great testament to the coverage from the Raiders here, as well as their defensive line collapsing down on it, forcing that quick 2-and-out, and now getting the ball back probably in better field position than they left it, depending on the outcome of this punt.
Templeton set to kick this ball away from his own 4-yard line. Pressure in his face. Gets it away, but it's going to be solid field position for Oak Park just past the Dakota 35.
And Dakota playing a little bit American there. They only had 11 on the field, so for that ball to just get immediately out of bounds, not the deepest punt, not the most yards out of it, but the best return for a punt team is no return. So when you're missing a contained player or a gunner to the side you're punting to, like Dakota was, for that ball to be limited return, yeah, this is not great field position for Dakota's defense, and hopefully they can tighten up and continue to respond in the second half against Oak Park's 5-on set.
Kohanski with a single back, trips to the strong side. Pirani's going to motion. He's going to get it on the jet sweep, and he's going to be taken down for a loss. Absolutely nothing. Once again strapped up by Brady Penner.
There's a lot to be said for linebackers that can fly around and make secure tackles. Linebackers, even though that's where Oak Park has had a lot of success, is forcing the backers to meet them in those downhill gaps, and Penner has stepped up to that. He's also great at flowing and flying around to those fast flow plays. But there was a big open window on the backside slant on that. If Coach Giesberg saw that, that might be something to come back to.
A reminder to the viewers, Brady Penner, as we have a screen pass here, I'll come back to that thought. Amaya's first with the grab, taken down right away by Luke Edmondson.
Yeah, and that's a great job. So Oak Park loves running that screen when they're in their 32 set. They love running to the twin side. When they're quad set, they love running to their ISO side. And that was something that 55 clearly keyed in on. So that was a great job from Luke Edmondson to recognize that back coming out and to just go seal that away through the blocks of the Oak Park linemen. Really great heads-up play from that linebacker.
Going back to that first down stuff from Brady Penner, just a reminder to the viewers, Brady Penner had never played linebacker before. He had definitely never played middle linebacker in his career. He had not played football for a year. He was a basketball player, much like his older brother Brady, who was the Anavets Bowl champion at quarterback 2 years ago for the Dakota Lancers. What a job he has done this season coming back to football, as that kick is up and it is wide to the left. We'll see if Wall can get it out of the end zone. He can get it out of the end zone, up to the 7-yard line, as Dakota turns that into no points. Missed field goal from the Raiders on the attempt by Patching Bowen.
That's a great job getting that ball out of the end zone. So just that little niche rule, if you're not familiar with it, is on a punt, which a missed field goal becomes a punt. That's the best way to think of it. The team still has to give the 5 yards. If you get tackled in the end zone, it goes through the end zone. It's a single point. It becomes a punt with a missed field goal. So when you return that punt, that missed field goal, out of the end zone, the worst thing that can happen, assuming no turnover or anything like that, is you're getting the ball on the 20. if you, a kickoff is a little different. If you take a kickoff out of the end zone and you get tackled on the 2, you get that ball on the 2. So that's a little bit of a nuance that's a difference between a punt and a kickoff. So him getting out onto the 5 to the 7 automatically gets him to the 20 or better.
Hussein handing this football off to Monkman. Stretches it to the outside, breaks away, still going, first down and then some for Reed Monkman. Reed Monkman still on his feet, all the way inside the 30-yard line. What a play by Reed Monkman. We have a flag on the field. We'll wait for the call.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be after yards gained here, if it is what I think it is. I want to really highlight Valaja here, number 78 for Dakota, the left tackle. He, again, I mentioned earlier on that big run, their O-line shows that like teach tape on the
Unnecessary
outside.
roughness, face mask. Oak Park, number 8, 15 yards from the end of the play. First down.
Reed Monkman with a humongous gain for the Lancers, who are all the way down following that penalty at the Oak Park 10-yard line.
Completely flips the field, and all because that offensive tackle reached that defensive end, ran him downfield, never gave up on the block. Sometimes offensive linemen, when they get into a good position, they stop their feet and they say, okay, I made my block. Great offensive linemen keep their feet running the entire time.
Hussein hands it off to Monkman. This time, not much. He does push forward for a couple of extra yards when he was taken down originally at that line of scrimmage. Tackle made on the play by Tiger Reeves.
They're getting swallowed up at the line of scrimmage there, but keeping the feet moving and just getting those few extra hard yards.
Just a reminder, Reed Monkman was not the lead back for this football team during the regular season. That was Noah Lee. He had a great season. He is not in this game. Reed Monkman stepping up big in the run game for the Lancers, getting exceptional blocking up front from this veteran Dakota offensive line.
And that's a testament to how good this offensive line is.
Danny Valeja at left tackle, one of those veterans that's been with this program, as that pass is incomplete. Great coverage on the outside. Knocked down. Dante Sims.
Yeah, really good job driving on that ball. And that can be a little dangerous of a throw. That's a risk-reward situation where if that ball hangs inside, that can be 6 going the other way. But just kind of committing to the body and making sure that it's not an opportunity to complete that pass. Great job from Sims breaking that up.
So the Raiders hold on that deep Dakota drive. Reed Monkman with the big gain. The aided by the penalty, setting up the Lancers at the 10, but that defense does their part. Brady Templeton in to kick this field goal attempt from 13 yards out. It is up and it is good. The Lancers take a 7-point lead with 1:11 to go in the third quarter.
That's going to be a big 3 points. Like, again, you have that kind of drive, you have that play from Monkman get all the way down the field, aided by that penalty, and now you're in a situation, but just getting more points, getting a little bit more cushion, where now Oak Park is going to be in a position where they got to put the 7 on the board just to tie, changes the complexion of the game. And it's not like Oak Park hasn't been moving the ball still. There's just been a few drives just getting stalled out. And a lot of it has come when they're trying to get things off tackle, which has been what they've done all year, is they get those fast plays outside. But now they've got a defense in Dakota that's really great at flying around and taking those angles. So now they're back in this look they've started all game, and they're in that trips I formation that they've run their stretch and their lead out of.
For the viewers tuning in on Reed Monkman, just got Russell Wallace kind of tuning in on the broadcast. Head coach of Team Manitoba Indigenous, won the gold medal this past summer. Reed Monkman was a captain on that Team Manitoba Indigenous squad, an amazing football player and leader, from Russell Wallace. So thank you for that. As that ball was incomplete, flag on the play as well.
Yeah, offensive pass interference is going to be the call here. So they've been running that stretch. Now they run. Unfortunately, just a little extra puts them back in their 5R unit. And great to hear from Coach Wallace, wishing him good luck in his championship game next week.
Yeah, shout out Wes K going for that championship at the 4A level against the Elmwood Giants. All the best to Coach. Braden Kohansky back to pass, incomplete. Brady Penner was there once again. Taven Pirani was the intended target.
Just not able to complete it. Good job from the linebacker to pick that up and run with it. Really great job from Penner. He's been having an outstanding day today.
Most definitely. And again, this is a Dakota Lancers team that a lot of these guys played together when they were in Mustangs as well, so they've got a lot of chemistry on that side of the ball, specifically on defense. A lot of athletes that fly around, and they've certainly done their job here in the second half. And it's not easy to contain and cover the speedsters that Oak Park has at that receiver position. Myers First, Taven Pirani, many other dangerous targets, Adam Kilmister, Travis Irving, and the likes. As this ball up in the air, hanging around for Templeton, picks it up in the air and gets it up past midfield.
That was a good job from Kilmister to keep contained downfield as that contained player. It's one of those things where if that returner is going to get to your outside shoulder, it's because you're making the tackle. So he did a good job forcing that out of bounds. And Dakota going to be in position to get at least one more play off in this third quarter as they continue to try and extend their lead.
Field position has certainly been on Dakota's side in the third quarter. They've come out here and put their foot on the gas pedal. Khalil Hossein with a big pass completion as well to Brady Templeton to set up a score himself. As he hands it off to Monkman, and he is denied at the line of scrimmage. Grayson Ross in there to make the tackle with friends.
Yeah, there's that counter trade coming up again. I can't stress enough how much Oak Park is ready for that play. That's been a big part of Dakota's offense at the JV level. If you were watching last week when the JV 12 versions of these teams played each other, counter trade was basic. Not all Dakota ran, but it's their primary run play. That's been the case here for their varsity teams, not as much, but it's still a big part. And Oak Park is clearly prepped up and ready to take that away. Now it's up for Dakota to kind of continue to work, maybe not necessarily their wrinkles, because in the end of the first half, they came back to a lot of the stuff that's been working for them all year, and they kind of, not simple, again, it's never simple, but they kept it straightforward, they kept it familiar. And I think that's going to be a lot of what Coach Barrett does here, is kind of keeping things in their wheelhouse. Coming out in their gun split, so we're probably going to see 16 bounce out here one way or the other into a 5R, or he's going to walk down to that like tight sig.
12 minutes separates one of these teams from championship glory. As Hussein's pass is picked off, it's not going to matter. There's going to be illegal contact called as this one is returned the other way by Tasia Balastis, but this is going to come back. There was contact on the receiver downfield. They're just deliberating on it. Multiple flags were thrown.
Yeah, sometimes, when receivers run really good routes and they cross DB's faces and they're in position to make a really great catch on the ball, the defensive backs don't have a choice but to try and run through the body.
Pass interference, Oak Park, number 4, first down.
It's just a situation where sometimes you make the best play you can, and if the refs don't call it, which sometimes they don't, that's an interception. So it's a risk reward, and it's better than giving up the reception for a big gain.
Carter Gillen called on the flag. Dakota will keep this football at their own 40-yard line. Oak Park's 40-yard line. Reed Monkman on the carry, squeezing forward, trying to get away from that defensive front. And he's taken down by Tiger Reeves after a short gain.
And Tiger's been doing a really good job of collapsing that end down once he sees the quarterback no longer has the ball. So Hossein is kind of holding him with the read option, but once that ball's gone, he's been sliding down the line and getting himself involved. And then kind of continuing to attack. And Monkman continued to drive his feet. That was a good little battle.
Absolutely. I mean, he's had a fantastic game for Dakota and a fantastic summer as well. Really impressed by that Team Manitoba Indigenous squad. Their offense in particular was absolutely firing during that tournament. Hossein back to pass. That one's too high for the intended target. He was trying to find Darius Sapong-Reen on the play.
And that was a good, another hidden look there. They're kind of showing a cover 2, and then they're flooding the backers out into a wider 2 shell. It's just been a lot of playing around with what Hossein's seeing pre-snap, and I know that the coaches are really good at identifying what defenses are trying to do with their coverages, what they're trying to hide, what they're trying to move to, and so he's slowly been adjusting and trying to find those open receivers. And as the game continues on, he might start to find a few of those windows that they're looking for.
Templeton back to punt this football away. Pressure, and it's blocked! Oak Park gets their hands on that football, and they'll take over in the big miss of Adam Kilmister, the senior, with a humongous play for the Raiders.
And what a great back and forth that this whole game has been. Special teams matter, offenses matter, defenses matter. Everybody's been making impacts through and throughout the game. That's what makes this such a special sport, is the opportunities for every player who gets on that field to be the hero in that moment. And now we're getting a situation where it's coming down to the championship, the best two teams in the province. They've been battling it out all year, looking forward to this. It's been 10 months of work leading up to this moment. We're going to have a great 10 minutes to finish out here.
Adam Kilmister, one of those top targets in the receiving game, hasn't been as much of a factor there, but he makes his work in other ways with an enormous special teams play as the Raiders take over. That first down carry went for no gain.
And Dakota, again, is really starting to adjust to what Oak Park was having success with earlier on in the game. That stretch-off tackle where the end was coming inside and spilling it out. Well, now the linebackers are getting really used to it. 55 was flying to that, scraping to contain Luke Edmondson and then letting Penner clean it up behind him. Oak Park in their gun split, this is where they love releasing those backs.
Ross on one side, first on the other. Open is Kilmister, and it's incomplete! He had a chance at it, Dan.
He sure did, and that was a great design. So they love releasing those backs a little early because it becomes eye candy, and they love running the hooks behind it. So what you're seeing there is Kilmister sits down on that hook well beyond that first down yardage, but the defender sees the speed out that converted that second down earlier in the game. He jumps that speed out and opens up that hook, exactly what Oak Park wanted, and just not able to complete the connection there.
Bit end over end on that throw as well. Might have been a hand on that ball as Kohetzky didn't get the zip out maybe that he wanted to. That one falls incomplete, and Dakota, another defensive stand as this ball is booted away. Bounced to 32-yard line, taken there and taken down right away. Great job on that kick cover team from the Raiders, and it's Kilmister getting down there to make the tackle.
Yeah, 2 punts in a row where he's been that contained player that's really taken care of him. That's that rugby punt came off the foot a little low, which is kind of the give take of that rugby punt. Because you're coming downhill with it, you just have less control, and you're not able to hit it as clean all the time as you're getting used to it as a player. But it's always going to kind of, if you're doing it well, you're going to have that good angle to cut the field down for your cover team.
Really like seeing Ethan Diakal, the receivers coach for Oak Park, immediately going and talking to Kilmister after that play, just kind of giving him a few words of encouragement. Of course, Ethan Diakal was on the last Oak Park Raiders team that won the Anavets Bowl in 2014 as Monkman takes that first down carry, but he is stopped for a loss. That was another big play from Patrick Nizigiamana, who's really been in the backfield a lot in this third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, defenses are really starting to tighten up here in the second half. They're just kind of, all the practice, the scout reps are always great. Scout is what's going to win you games and championships throughout the season. The scout players listening to this, but they're starting to really see the game speed here in both teams.
Screen pass in and out of the hands of Monkman. That'll set up a third down.
Yeah, and that's again, defense just does a good job on first down. You stop it, you get them behind the sticks. Now they're chasing that first down yardage. They go to a screen, you sniff it out, you make it a contested catch that becomes an incompletion, and that's a really fast 2 and out. And Oak Park is back in position to try and get the ball and continue this potential comeback here.
Even if he caught that football, Grayson Ross was right in the area yet again, has just been absolutely fantastic on both sides of the ball, like he's been all year. The senior helping lead the way for the Raiders as Templeton kicks this football away. Bounces around the 50, fielded there by Glod. Adonis Glod, he's got a big gain down the sidelines. Adonis Glod nearly takes it to the house. Just tried to balance that sideline. Looks like that right foot kind of went in and out right at the very end. Otherwise, that's a house call. Still a big gain for Glod, and we've got an injured Lancer down right near where Glod stepped out of bounds. I can't catch the number right here, but we're probably going to see it on the replays. Another good look at, that is Glod who picked it up here. Tiptoeing down the sidelines. And then eventually careening out just barely there.
So that's Reed Monkman down right now. I'm hoping they're just kind of getting him stretched out for some cramps here. And he can be ready to go for the next Dakota offensive drive. But if he's not, if it's something more serious or something just needs a little bit more time, well, then we're going to have to find out who that third player up for Dakota is going to be in that tailback position.
Yeah, I would have to think Templeton might get the carries for Monkman if that's the case. He has been in the backfield on some of those looks. Of course, he's kind of motion out of the backfield as a receiver as well, but he has ran the rock during the season as well for the Lancers. Again, they've had a balanced attack that way. Monkman has ran the rock. They've also given carries to Shemuel Olawadare. He's also carried the ball for 194 yards on 18 carries this year. Templeton has got touches. Darius Green has gotten touches for them. So there are quite a few options for Dakota. They are not short on athletic playmakers in the backfield. 8:02 to play here in the fourth quarter of the Anavets Bowl, and it's a classic. No surprises here. These are two top contenders, a rematch of last year's Anavets Bowl championship won by the Dakota Lancers. 6-1 Oak Park, 6-1 Dakota, and wouldn't have it any other way. It almost surely will come down to whoever has the last possession in this football game to decide the best team in the province of Manitoba at the 4A level, as Monkman walking off a little bit of a limp on that right leg. Of course, you hope he's okay. It's been so important for this Dakota side, but again, getting a little bit of assistance to get off the field.
Yeah, players, coaches that you're watching there, send someone shorter. You know, as long as someone's going to be that touch more than made to be a little bit shorter than players anyway.
Yeah, they've brought out Charlie Dudek, who's a pretty large offensive lineman out there to help as he assists in getting back ready to go.
Great teammate, though. I should specify. It's a great teammate to go out there.
Kohanski, back to pass. That one nearly intercepted by J.J. Wall, as it was a little bit too strong for the intended target on the play. And it'll be second down. Oak Park lucky that one wasn't intercepted.
Yeah, that was a great job of a progression for Oak Park. It didn't result in the completion, but that's something they've been kind of setting up with those jet sweeps. Now you go to your jet sweep play action. Those blockers that had been coming down on crack blocks, on just kind of sealing defenders in, well, now they're releasing on their verticals, and they're just not in position to complete here.
Ryland Bayless for the intended target.
We finally see this rail with a drag route come across to Taven. Yeah, there it is.
Taven Perani's got the grab. Taven Perani gets away. Touchdown Raiders! You knew he was going to get involved, and right when they needed it, it's a major for the senior.
And there's that mesh rail concept that I've been mentioning for the broadcast here that's been really great for Oak Park all year. It's kind of become their go-to, we need a score. And it's a great concept because what you're doing is you're releasing that tailback to that ISO side. And Kilmister's lined up a little bit more of a minus split. He's a little tighter to the box than he normally is out of that ISO quad set. So he's coming across on like a mesh concept. He runs a shallow drag. You bring number one across the field. Perani on that drag. The tailback releases on that railroad, that vertical. If the defense runs with the railroad, that means they've now opened up a very dangerous receiver on that drag route. We see how quickly that becomes points. If they do a good job sitting on that drag route where you still have the vertical off of it, you can go take your shot with. So that concept is becoming more and more popular. That mesh rail is becoming more and more popular across the league. I mentioned, again, if you joined us for the broadcast last week, Dakota was the team that ran that concept. Now we're seeing Oak Park kind of go back as bread and butter. And one thing they did against Massey that was a really neat variation of it is they showed that same look, but then they had Perani run a whip route out of it. So he faked the drag and then whipped back out to the flats. They didn't complete it, but I kind of made that note, and that gives you good insight into what Coach Giesbricht and Oak Park likes to do, is they love their progression. They want to show you something. You see it, you see it, you see it, you get used to it. Well, now they're going to hit you with the progression off of it, and that's just good, sound, fundamental football. But when you really come down to it, that kind of concept, when it's worked for you all year, because the concept is let's put the ball in the playmaker's hands in a high percentage pass and let him go score. That's where they've had success all year, and that's what's put them into this tie game.
When you need a big play, put it in the hands of one of the fastest players in the province. Taven Perani, the senior, gets it done. Talked about it going into the game, his dangerous playmaking ability, and the key being his explosiveness. He said, over the years, I've learned how to play the game more explosively. Playing with good people has helped benefit me. It's helped benefit my game. And that's a booming kick, and this is huge. Are they going to get it under the end zone? And they can there. That's important, Dan. If you give up the safety there, that's a lead for the Oak Park Raiders, and a good effort from Templeton to get that one to the 2. But one hell of a kick off of the tee from Ryland Patching Bowen. Dan, you talked about his abilities as a kicker.
Yeah, to put it into the end zone. He's been short all night, and I wonder if he's gotten warmed up, the ball's gotten warmed up, maybe the temperature has lifted a little bit, any number of factors. Now he puts that in the end zone. You're exactly right. If that stays a single, that could be the difference in this game. 2 years ago, when these teams met in the semis, it was all about a rouge and just trying to end things early that ended up going to overtime. Coach Peters, I'm sure, will love me here. We're talking about the rouge again. And like we talked about the punt, a kickoff is different. He got the ball in the end zone, but you don't get it on the 20 on a kickoff. You get it where you are.
And Reed Monkman is not in this game. It is Shemuel Oluwadare in the backfield to start this drive for the Lancers. Will that
just standing there menacingly?
Yes, he looks. He's looking like I'm blanking on the name, but the running back for the Oakland Raiders from Boise State, whose name totally escapes me. Thank you, Ashton Genty, who does that exact same thing. We have a flag on the play that is going to put this ball at the 1.
Yeah, I believe it was. I think it was a delay game. I don't know. I was too busy laughing.
It's hilarious. Yeah. I almost fell out of my chair on that one. First down for the Lancers at the 1 yard line. It's Khalil Hussein. Quads to the strong side as we recuperate in the booth. Oluwadare on the carry. Not much on first down. That Oak Park defensive line with a humongous stuffed Tiger Reeves in and among the tacklers in on that one. And yet again, it is Patrick Nizzi-Giamana as well, having a huge fourth quarter.
Yeah, and there's a great example of how fast Uncle Mo momentum can kind of swing to one other side. You get that score, you get that incredible kickoff, and now Dakota's reeling. They're backed up. We started the game where they're on their 10. Oh, they got to go the entire field. Now they're on their 2, and they got to go the entire field. And this is a really big second down. If they can get this conversion, they're really spread out here.
Once again, a quads look for Dakota with Oluwadare in the backfield. Hussein. That pass is complete. That's a first down for the Lancers. That is a humongous gain and completion for Dak, and it's J.J. Wall in contested coverage.
Yeah, that's a great job of just kind of getting out into a little bit more of a plus split, getting away from the box, and then running those crossing routes. They're recognizing that Oak Park all year has been very much a cover one, a man coverage defense. Well, if you can give the quarterback time for those routes to cross the field, it's similar to what Pirani just scored on, getting into space and getting that huge conversion.
There was good coverage from Zayden Ross. J.J. Wall had to surge forward a few extra yards to move the chains. He did that. Great play. Once again, though, on first down, the Lancers stuffed as Oluwadare taken down in the backfield yet again.
Yeah, and it's so fitting that this is a tie game. I was going to kind of mention this a little bit earlier, that kind of every time these teams have met in the last few years, it's been that one-score game. It's been tight. It's been so fitting that this is coming down. I've mentioned this to a few people tonight. When I get into games like this, I'm cheering for overtime. I just want to watch as much great football as possible, and it's looking like we're 5 minutes away, potentially, from seeing another great overtime matchup between these two teams.
We saw that 2 years ago. These two teams went to OT in the semifinals, as that one is incomplete. Trying to toe-tip trip on the sideline was Wall, and Brad Sarna is not happy. He's pointing his finger near the first down marker. He thinks that was a completion, but it is not.
Yeah, I'm okay with the officials. He clearly had the angle on it. That being said, if it is that close, I am a big fan of erring on the side of amateur football. If it's close and an official is not sure, I always feel like they should give him the catch. But being, on the good angle that lines judge had, I trust the official to have made that right call. Just not quite getting the feet down. There's that corner route. It's open, but it's a difficult completion.
The Raiders are going to get fantastic field position. They've got Amias first, as well as Taven Pirani, that are standing at the 45, and instead Templeton is going to concede the 2, and so the booming kick didn't result in a safety, but now it's going to be 2 off of the conceded instead of a punt. And Dan, I think that's probably the best decision there, given where the field position would have been, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, anytime you're giving up the lead in a tight game like this, there's a part of me that kind of bristles at that. And your defense has been playing really, really well, but it is going to be your decision. Like with the way Oak Park is playing right now, it is feeling kind of like a pick your poison situation. You give them 2 points now and hopefully get yourself some good field position to go get 3 or more. A rule change from a few years ago that you know, if you're not familiar with after safeties, it used to be after a safety, you had 3 options. You could either choose to kick off, which that's a very niche situation. You could have the team kick off to you, or you have the team start on their own 35. That choice is now gone. After a safety, the team that scored the safety gets the ball on the 35.
Handoff to Glod. Gain of about 5 on the play for Adonis.
And that's one of the better leads that Oak Park has had in the second half. Dakota has really started to shut that down as they go back to their 5R package here. But getting that 5 yards has been what Oak Park has wanted to get out of those plays all night. It sets them up in that second and manageable. And now the defense has to cover kind of everything. They're going to open up back in this quads look. Do they go right back to what scored?
Kohanski, that pass is complete. Moving the chains for the Raiders. That's a big grab for Adam Kilmister, the veteran. They go back to him again.
Yeah, when you can release, I believe it's Amias in the backfield right now. It doesn't matter, Amias first or Glod. Either is a deep threat out of that backfield. You can start moving them around. There's that rail route. That was a wheel route that opened up the underneath to Kilmister. There's so many options you can have to that ISO side for your tailback.
Kohanski handing this football off, and another solid gain on first down of about 5 for Adonis Glod as this clock continues to tick down to 3 minutes.
And that's a really good job from Oak Park to just run the ball there. Coach Giesbrook doesn't panic. He knows the game. 1st and 10, he loves running the ball there to set them up in those second and manageables that opens up his playbook. And that's a tough call for that defensive end to deal with there. The Oak Park O-line is getting pushed. They're moving the line, and the defensive end is the one who has to make that tackle. I mentioned earlier, if the defensive end makes that play, it's a 5-yard gain.
Kohanski back to pass. That one is incomplete. Tried to find Grayson Ross, but just a little short.
Yeah, that stretch play action again just hasn't quite been there tonight like it has been all season. Dakota's been really disciplined in picking that up out of the backfield. In particular, that was Luke Edmondson again, just recognizing Ross, releasing on that flats. The corner for Dakota was in great coverage on that vertical route that they pair with that stretch play action and just took it away. Nowhere, no easy completions. When you're trying to get that big body rumbling, showing the play action of those downhill runs, you're hoping that player pops free because the linebacker gets sucked up. Dakota's been doing great with that all night.
That ball booted away, bouncing around the 30-yard line off the hand of J.J. Wall, and careening out of bounds. Solid kick there from Travis Irving.
So 2 minutes left for Dakota to go down and get themselves in at least field goal position here.
2:21 on the clock. 2:21 separating the Oak Park Raiders from their first Anavets Bowl since 2014. They're playing for the late Stu Nixon, passing away suddenly this past May, looking to take home the JV and varsity championships. But the Dakota Lancers, the 2-time defending champs, are going to have something to say about that. What do they have in response? Khalil Hussein, incomplete. Grayson Ross right there in coverage.
And that was what they had a little bit of success with, right? They want to bring that crossing route to kind of take care of that man coverage, let that pop through. But now you've got Ross, who's been doing a fantastic job as a linebacker, sitting there waiting on those routes, being ready to collision those low crossers, and just not an easy completion. And that ball had to come out because of the pressure in his face.
2nd and 10 for Dakota. Hussein.
Now Dakota, or Oak Park in their too high shell.
Back to pass is Hussein. Feels pressure. Flag on the play as he's going to go deep for Wall. Incomplete. We will wait to see what the call is. It came from the back judge.
Yeah, based on the timing here, it came out during the play. I'm assuming we'll have illegal contact. But I am assuming. I've been wrong a lot tonight.
I think you're right on that, but I'm not a ref. So we'll wait to see what the call is from Matt Urbanovich.
Illegal contact, Oak Park, number 5. 10-yard penalty, results in a first down.
First down for the Lancers.
That's what they need. They just need to keep these sticks moving any way they can do it. Now, Oak Park did come out, like I said, in a too high shell there, so they're starting to give a little protection on ISO side. Dakota has not taken their shot to the ISO and quads all game. It'd be interesting to see if they do. Now that they got single high, this is an opportunity to try and get that.
Darius Paul Marine is isolated on the short side. He runs that drag route. Hossein over the top. That one is nearly picked off. That ball hung up in no man's land. Kareem's down to the turf. There were a couple players in the area. Ridwan, Ajay, and Raheem tried to make the catch, but that one falls to the ground. We'll get I was going to say, get a good look at the replay here, but our screen has frozen, so ignore me on that. Second down, Lancers.
And this is something where Dakota doesn't necessarily need to get everything all at once. Even if you're feeling like this is 3-down situation here, you don't need to get all 10 right now. You can take what the defense is giving you. You can still take some of those underneath routes and convert from there.
Reed Monkman is back in the football game as Hossein goes deep for JJ. Wallace picked off, taken away by Taven Barani. Taven Barani down the sideline, deep into Dakota territory. The savvy senior, the veteran, 3-year starter, Taven Barani coming up clutch in the fourth quarter.
And that's big. Like when you don't use your eyes to move a safety, he's going to be able to fly over top of that ISO side. A little bit of contact on the Dakota receiver there. I think he kind of came out of that route asking for something from the officials, but the officials letting him play in the fourth quarter here, which is nice to see. And Pirani being able to get that interception that was kind of earlier taken away by a pass interference. This time not getting it and being able to put Oak Park in position to put this game away potentially.
Taven Pirani with the game-leading touchdown, and now an interception late in the fourth quarter. Can it help seal the deal for the Raiders? Grayson Ross on the carry, short gain.
Dakota taking the time out here to try and conserve as much clock as possible. Now we know the Oak Park kicker has the leg for this, but with the conditions being what they are, is the operation going to hold up? Is the angle going to be an issue? If they do get in a third down situation here, do they kick the field goal? And because of that safety earlier, even if you miss it, if you drive it out the back of the end zone, which again, they have the leg to do, well, it now becomes that 3-point game where the touchdown is what they need to take that win away. The field goal is just going to tie it. So situation for Oak Park to just be an immediate position to gain a little more control of this game, but there's no world where they don't want to walk away with 7 points here.
Second down at 8 for Oak Park.
We've got a flipped backfield, so 21 is at fullback with Ross at tailback here. So it's gonna be a little more of a downhill, like we're gonna stuff it down the face run.
Ross tries to cut it to the edge, keeps those legs churning. He's gonna be short of the first down. Dakota holds.
And that's that formation that we would normally see with Bramwell, who's unfortunately not been able to finish the game tonight after leaving in the first quarter. Normally he would be that fullback type in front of Ross out of that formation. Clearly they wanted to just get that power downhill back to try and get it, and just Dakota's been doing a good job adapting as they have all second half into taking away those downhill runs.
Luke Edmondson and Trayson Burnett Joseph among those in to make the tackle. Great shot of Nick Conway on the broadcast, leading the defensive backs for the Dakota Lancers, Bison's football alum. Really important piece for that coaching staff. This is going to be a field goal attempt of 30 yards. Looking to take a 5-point lead are the Raiders late in this football game. It's Rylan Patching Bowen. The holder is Rylan Bayless from 29. Humongous attempt coming here for Oak Park. Low snap, fielded well. That one is up, and it is good. Nothing but money from Rylan Patching Bowen.
That was a fantastic kick. Great job. And the front line on the field goal protect team there just kept that nice clean pocket, let him drive that ball downfield. Now that 5-point game, I mean, Oak Park is excited, but they're certainly not out of the woods yet, right? This is a Dakota team that has scored and moved the ball really quickly. They are 2-3 plays away from being in the end zone at any point in time. And again, they're starting with this ball on the 35, on the offensive left hash. They're going to be, again, they don't have to rush yet. They don't need to try and get all of the yards in this chunk. They can move it one step at a time.
Khalil Hussein with Monkman as the single back motioning out now. Hussein back to pass. That one is caught. What a grab across the middle. Exceptional concentration hauled in on the play by Marek Vojevic.
Yeah, and so we've got Oak Park is playing kind of like a cover 4 shell. So they've got a lot of defenders back who are just in position to try and take everything, keep everything in front of them. And that's going to open up some of those underneath routes that's going to get closer and closer if they can be patient and buy their quarterback time.
Hussein back to pass, got pressure in his face, he gets away. Hussein past the first down marker, loose football! This one's on the turf. Who's got it? We'll wait to see.
This is a huge fumble, but there is a flag on the play, so all this excitement might be for naught. Dakota did recover it, but we'll see what the penalty says.
Hussein breaking away from the penetration from Oak Park. There is a flag, as you mentioned, Dan. We'll wait to see what that is, and it is Reed Monkman who came up with the ball.
Good time to be back in the game to make that big play to bail your quarterback out.
Boy, is it ever. Penalty was on Oak Park. Just onside midfield. They need a touchdown to win this football game. 1:19 left on the clock. The Lancers looking to become just the 5th team in Winnipeg High School Football League history to three-peat as provincial champions, as Anavets Bowl champions.
Just having to talk to the Dakota bench here right now. I'm not sure what the officials are discussing with them. I thought they were kind of checking a player. But we'll see what they're going to be talking about right now. They might even just be getting clarification about the penalty not adding on yardage. But
It'll be accepted. It'll be first down Dakota, and the clock will start on the snap.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure what he said.
We can't hear the mic on the ref here, unfortunately, so no idea.
Hopefully you know more than we do.
Hussein with Monkman in the backfield, motions out to block. He's got a man open, and that one is complete up near the first down marker. That's going to move the sticks. That one caught by Darius Sapong-Reed.
That's a great job of recognizing that even though there's safety help over the top, if the corner's going to play that far off, again, you don't have to get everything all at once. Take the 10 yards at a time. Put yourself in position to score, if you're going to get that kind of space from a cornerback.
Too high for Oak Park on this first down from the Raiders 45. Hussein gets away from pressure, keeps his feet going up near the first down marker again. Big play. KJ moves the chains for the second time with his feet.
And again, he's doing a great job of just, if the defense is going to play everything off, whatever's in front of him, okay, you're going to play back. The offensive line is holding up really well right now. They are not, Oak Park is not getting the pressure they were earlier in that game. And a big part of that might be that Grayson Ross is not out on that field. He's been someone who's brought a lot of the pressure throughout here. And Hussein's just doing a good job. If you're going to take away all the receivers right now, fine, I'll take off with my feet. I'll take what you're going to give me.
Hussein, good protection. Now he rolls onto his right. He's got pressure, getting it away. That one is incomplete. Locked up by the DB, Yanni Linetsky, on the play.
And even just getting that ball out to avoid taking that kind of, taking that sack would be pretty detrimental right now. 2nd and 10 is still, you're 3 down football at this point. You're under a minute left. You're going to go try and win this game if you're Dakota. So you don't need to be so worried. And, I think Coach Holson giving some words to the defense here, get them to tighten up and be ready to just come downhill and keep everything in front of them.
2nd and 10 from the Oak Park 35. Hussein looking for a man, and it is incomplete and picked off by Oak Park. Taken away by Elias First with 47 seconds left to go. The Raiders will retake this football. Still not over it. 2 and out does buy Dakota a chance for a miracle here. But for Elias to be in position and to just instinctively be able to get that ball out of the air
control it, and make sure your team is positioned to go home champions tonight is a fantastic job from a fantastic player.
JJ Wall had a chance at it. It was in his hands, bobbled in and out. Myers first, right play, right time. He got things started with a big rushing touchdown. Huge difference on both sides of the ball tonight. One of those many two-way studs that have come up clutch. Amaya first, Taven Brani, two impact seniors on this Raiders team, two Team Manitoba U18 standouts, and they have both made a humongous difference in this game. Grayson Ross has been fantastic on both sides of the ball. And now Oak Park's coaching staff just talking it over here with Braden Kohansky, the quarterback, on the sideline, making sure that they can get this all locked up. 47 seconds to play, but like you said, Dan, it's certainly not over if Dakota can get a stand here defensively, give their offense another shot.
Yeah, I like this, that Oak Park taking that time out, just taking a second or two to just bring everything down for a second. Because after that interception, that can feel like that nail in the coffin, and you're really high. It's like, okay, hey, we just won this. But you still got to finish the game. So take you a second to bring it down a little bit, talk about what you're going to do, what your priorities are, coming out in their eye set that's been great for them all year to just try and control the clock one last time.
Grayson Ross powering it forward, a gain of about 2 on the play.
And you know Dakota's ready for it. You know, Penner's been amazing all night for them. He was in a sprinter stance at middle linebacker before that play started. Like there was no world where he wasn't coming downhill to try and make that play. Even though the ball kind of went away from him on the dive, his teammates cleaned it up. That gives you an idea of what that Dakota mentality is right now. There is no sitting back and kind of hoping something happens for them going the other way. It's how do we come downhill and make things happen for us.
Kohansky under center on the 2nd and 8. This ball is was bobbled and fumbled, and it's on the turf, and it's Lancer's football! Lancer's football at the 19!
And that's why you come downhill. Sometimes you wait for things to come to you, you go make things happen. Being downhill, forcing that fumble on the mesh point is going to be exactly what Dakota needed with 18 seconds left, an opportunity from the 19-yard line to get in the end zone here. And can Oak Park now bring themselves into some composure, run their style of defense, keep the things in front of them, and just keep the ball to the end zone? What an exciting finish.
Oh, what a finish, Dan. A classic, and we wouldn't have thought it would have gone any other way. Alex Plank is the one that got his hands on that ball for Dakota. Hussein looking for somebody, still looking, gets away, now he's taken down. Who else but Grayson Ross?
See if it gets whistled in here. Yeah, this might be our last play of the game.
Khalil Hussein for the win to the end zone. Incomplete with no time on the clock. The Raiders have won the Advent Bowl. First time since 2014. The Advent Bowl is coming back to Charleswood. Oak Park gets it done for the late Stu Nixon and Chris Olsen. Made it clear this week that they were playing for Stu in their home. He's a huge part of my life. He was my high school football coach. He was the one when I was on the tail end of my career playing. He got me into coaching. He got me into the building at Oak Park. I lived by there and lived in the building and breathed football. I owe him a lot. He's one of those guys that before most games, I would give him a shout to run game plans by to get that vote of confidence. It's different this year when you don't have that. I know there would be no better way to pay homage to the man upstairs than by both JV and Varsity winning this year. And I quote, you could not write it any better. They brought it home for you, Stu.
What a fantastic. And there's probably no one, you know what, I'm not going to say anything else because that was a great way to finish that podcast. Really well.
Congratulations to the Oak Park Raiders, Advent Bowl champions in 2025. Dan, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you next year.
I hope not.
Commissioner Jeffrey Bannon to present the award for the Offensive Player of the Game. And that goes to, from the Dakota Lancers, number 16, Brady Templeton, who I believe is injured in the end zone. And for the Defensive Player of the Game, from the Oak Park Raiders, number 5, Grayson Ross. And presentation of the Tom Monroe Memorial Trophy given to the Anavet Bowl's most valuable player will be presented by Mr. Al Dunham, Anavet's Dominion Command Chairman, or President, from Oak Park, number 1, Taven Pirani. Can we please have the captains of the finalists, the Dakota Lancers, meet Commissioner Bannon in midfield for the presentation of the finalist banner. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to crown the 2025 Anavets champions, the Oak Park Raiders. Can we have the captains please report to the commissioner midfield? Now for the presentation of the John Potter Memorial Trophy and League Championship banner to the winning team of the Anavets Bowl, to the Oak Park Raiders by Ms. Rosie Towers from the Anavets. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the 2025 Winnipeg High School football season. We wish you all a safe and healthy off-season, and we'll see you all next fall. And there you have them, ladies and gentlemen, your champion, Oak Park Raiders.
Okay. Hi, it's me, Anjola, and with me is MVP Taven of the Oak Park Raiders. Now, first of all, congratulations for winning. Tell me, how do you feel right now? Did it shock you? Were you surprised?
I was already crying before the game was even done, and man, it's been a process throughout this entire season. And again, Dak about to come on a three-peat, and we ended it thanks to my team and thanks to everyone's hard work, absolutely.
And did you ever have self-doubt in yourself? And if yes, what would you say motivated you to keep going?
Again, I had a slow start to the game, but as I told my guys and I engraved it to myself and in my mindset as well, you cannot waver no matter what happens, and that's exactly what we did today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Congratulations to the Oak Park Raiders for winning the championship.
Big congratulations, and for more upcoming events, visit our website at www.LRSD.TV. And shout out the LRSD TV team for making this possible. Once again, my name is Yoma.
And I am the fabulous Anjola. Until next time,
good night.